ever Garena Survivors. From the early days of the plunge into the new era of Call of Duty Mobile esports, things are gonna get super exciting in this year. That's exactly what we promised you, and it looks like Garena is living up to all of that promise. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, to bring you all of this exciting action.
Yeah, definitely, AJ. It is an exciting battle right now we're going to witness because for quite some time we have been asking for Battle Royale tournament. We have been asking really hard, and this time Garena Call of Duty Mobile has already brought us the Garena Survivors, where everyone in here will be able to showcase their talents on a VR scene, AJ.
Oh, absolutely, man. This is your triple S tier event for all of the teams out there. This is the best of the best of the best of the Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale scene within Malaysia, Singapore, as well as Philippines. And of course, you are going to see a super influx of Filipino squads out there as usual, as our server is just dominated by one flag, and that is the flag of the Philippines. But I'm just curious, Neptune, I'm just wondering exactly who is going to be representing MY as well as SG to take the fight up and perhaps snatch the throne away this time, or will it continue to be an all-out Filipino dominance as usual?
Yeah, I mean, we have pointed out before that it has been sweaty already because of the Filipino teams, but ABC Mystic will also be joining us from the MYSG. So I'm really excited to see how well will they be able to go against these teams. And as you mentioned, most of these teams are coming from the Philippines. But before we go there, and for more information, we're going to give out a tournament format right now. So this is day one of the semifinals, and the first half of the 32 teams that jumped into the semifinals will be going in here. After 3 days, another set of that 32 teams, so that will be 16 teams, will be jumping in, and then the top 8 from each finals or semifinals will be jumping into the finals right here, consisted of 16 teams. And looking at for each day, AJ, this is quite an amazing turnout of events, because we're going to have different maps as well as different perspective.
Oh yes, absolutely, sir. So TPP as well as FPP. So out there in the community, there's been a lot of fights back and forth. Which one do you prefer? Which one do I prefer? Which one is the real way to play Call of Duty Mobile? When you jump into the competition, we do not care what you feel is the better method. We want to test you on both the variations, TPP as well as FPP, separated through isolated as well as blackout. Everything goes out there on the battlefield, Neptune, and it is all up to the teams to show us what they have mastered out there. Well, teams like Vagabonds Esports, who have dominated TPP out there on the battlefield so far, be perhaps a little challenged when the FPP runs come into play. Those are the things that we want to analyze in the initial stages of this competition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, such number of teams has already gotten used to the TPP style, and putting in FPP in here really will weed out those teams that doesn't cut through. I mean, it will weed them out. It will really show us the theme of here is the survivors, and this is where those who will be surviving, regardless of what perspective, what map, will be coming up. But for the prize pool, this is what we are really excited for, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. 25,000 US dollars. And now you see, yes indeed, Garena Masters had the exact same prize pool, but it's so much more exciting for Neptune and I to announce this to the community, because what we've been having through the plunge, I mean, we are not complaining, because back then that was what was available for all of those players out there, right? A decent amount of US dollars for the podium finishing teams. But for the rest of them, it was just a game of playing for in-game currency. All we had was that CP. But this time around, Neptune, it's a whole different story, my friend. All the way down to the 16th spot. The top 16 teams here will be able to take away a slice of this 25,000 US dollar pie.
Yeah, starting from the 13th to the 16th, they will be taking home 250 for the 9th to the 12th, 500 US dollars. 5th to the 18th will be 750 as we move up. That will be 1,500 for the 4th, 3,000 for the 3rd, 4,500 for the 2nd, and a whopping 10,000 US dollars out there for the champions, AJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And of course, the rewards are just not for the players who go out there and do really well. The rewards are for you guys as well. Our beloved community, we will be having giveaways each and every single day. And we will also have the viewership rewards available for you. So what are you waiting for? Hit that like. If you are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button as well. And share out the stream as many times as you can. Tell each and every single BR follower, as well as each and every single one of your friends who have given up on the BR scene, that we are going to make a huge comeback in here. So they need to be available to see exactly how things break down from the get-go. Once again, the very first ever Garena Survivors, and I am pumped, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned about a comeback. I mean, it's a good comeback for the Battle Royale scenes because right now we are changing things a little bit. Because of the number of teams that we have right now, it is interesting to see the placement points that we have right now. The winners will be taking 10 points and the second will be taking 6 points. That is a 4-point lead already if you get the winner at that spot. And then it just goes down in there. And unfortunate for the 9 to 16, nothing for them right there. And of course, as always, 1 kill is equivalent to 1 point. So just in case you don't cut through taking that winner spot, at least get a decent amount of kills to be able to catch up on the points.
Oh, yeah. And this drastically changes the approach that some of the teams will have out there on the battlefield, because you have also drastically seen a reduction in the placement points that are available. So if teams want to go out there and they want to be able to secure a great placement round after round, they have to focus on the aggression. And now a little bit of a change into the formulation of all of these groups. We have reduced the number of teams in each of these groups from 25 to just 16. Reducing the number of players out there on the battlefield opens up more of those areas. So we will see fewer in engagements. The quantity will be lesser, but the quality of those engagements are going to be so much better this time around, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And we're talking about the quality. I mean, it's engagement after another, kills after kills, and there's just no point right there to really hold out on any of the kills. I mean, all they have to do is just put all their foot forward and then get those elimination of the team, and that is where most of the accumulated points will be coming in if they get as much kills as possible. Let's check out who are the teams that will be jumping in first half of this battle. We've already pointed out a few, but going in on to the left side of the screen, we have a Metaverse Esports, 13 Academy, 4 Kings, 3 teams from VVV, that is Veni Vidi Vici, representative of each letters. We have VV Esports main, Armament, Rodzina in there, completing the first half of the team, AJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, we have got NRX Nehemiah 69, Existence Valhalla, Most Wanted Vendico, Syntax Era Gurkhas, Mad Gunners Esports, NDD Action, ABCX Mystic, as well as CB1 Main. Alibaba Clan Mystic, this is one crew that I have had my eyes on for quite a while now. There's been a little bit of a rebranding with the Alibaba Clan being thrown right in front. I believe they used to be AVSG, but through the Mystic brand that they always have been carrying on all the way through, I believe they have carried on the quality as well. What will they be able to serve up in a lobby full of Filipino titans, on the other hand, will all be in their hands to prove a little bit later on. And this is only the first half of the 32 teams that are available for us, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot more that we're going to see right there, but a lot more because speaking of changes, AJ, usually we've seen not more than 5 rounds for each Battle Royale scene, but this time we're talking about 6 rounds. 6 rounds of battle, and switching map is normal. Switching map is the usual. We like
Yes.
they want to rest from isolated. We can go to blackout. But the
Yes.
perspective, this is what I'm interested. The perspective of each player, would it be the same as the TPP gameplay that they have? This is what we want to see.
Yeah.
How will they struggle?
Oh,
The
yeah.
struggle is real. That is what we want to find out, because pretty much there will be a slight struggle for the team, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I do anticipate a lot of struggling out there on the battlefield, but it's not something that we are springing onto the players just today, right? They have already been aware of the rules of engagement out there on the battlefield, so they have had quite enough of time to get themselves used to the FPP perspective. If they are not used to playing FPP, a lot of us in Garena, we are all about the TPP. We like the 360 view around us, and I'm a personal fan of TPP as well. It's a little bit easier out there on the battlefield. I do not play Battle Royale competitively. I have a lot of fun in BR. I only get super serious when I drop by into MP, right? So I don't know how this changes things, because for me, FPP just gives you a little bit more of a realistic feel out there on the battlefield, which is something that I haven't been able to truly master because of the vastness of that Battle Royale lobby that we've got out there on those maps, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And for this day, we have two of the FPP in Blackout. You mentioned about vastness. How vast is that map? And then you're going to put in people with only limited view. But before we go in further in there, we're going to start off with the TPP, AJ. And this is an OG map of Isolated. And we have the flight path coming in from the north, from the dormitory to the nuke town right here. We'll have to find out where each team will be dropping, and if there will be anyone who will be starting it off early in this game, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. And of course, we have got no information on those high-tier loot zones at this very moment. So, and that's something that we might not be able to find out unless this screen switches, and the probability of that happening is really, really low. But, if there's one feedback that I would like to put out there is I really want to see all of this change back to just purely numbers, man. The alphabets really confuse the life out of me, Neptune.
Yeah. I mean, you're at some point you're going to read it wrong because there's the numbers as well as the letters, but and then switching it from first to second. But here we go, We have the first blood already by Alaska, and 4 Kings are already starting it off, AJ, and they are going into the platform.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it looks like 4 Kings now. Battle after battle. Alatsky almost taken down off screen. You've got NRX69 jumping into a couple of battles as well. Doom gets knocked down, but Kuhn is the one that picks off the kill. As NRX69, they will be able to fly around here. It is the meta of that aerial platform. When you get up top, you cannot stay still. You have to continuously move around. But the chopper steal now coming through from NRX69. Wisely jumps off of the platform. Right down below in the hands, you will see the MAC-10, but Kuhn will not be able to survive that encounter. Remy now really low on the armor, has to make sure those dog tags are played quickly. Flex on the very bottom will be able to respond, but Grim, final player, he manages to knock Remy down as well.
And Mr. Flex is one of the only member of this team of NRX69. What can he do against Grim? Here comes the backstab, but no! Moving up in there, just grabbing in that dog tag. And will he be able to go in for the scan? There's only one dog tag from Mr. Flex in there that has been captured, and the rest needs to be brought back later on. But this is a good tactic for this team, because as long as you have one member in there surviving and coming in or dropping in on a different side of the map, despite of Mr. Flex having multiple enemies and might be brought down earlier, then they still have a chance in here to come back. And there's only 36 seconds in there, plenty of time for them to really work out the tactics of this gameplay.
And the players of Mammoth, they seem to have come across Alibaba Clan. This was the team highlighted earlier on from Singapore. But now as they try to position themselves, Rogue as well as Prime, right outside of the door, awaiting Watts, Amethyst Esports. One of the titans for sure in the competition, but they have been falling from grace in the recent past. Raul, Alps, Timothy, as well as Watts, as they position themselves, awaiting the presence of Alibaba Clan Mystic. They will not go on and aggress right outside, awaiting ABC to make the first mistake. But Elb seems to be getting a little impatient here, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a movement, but it seems right now that needs to be in check because those footsteps as well. I mean, the positions right now will be set in play for Alibaba clan right here, just in
Yeah.
case they move around too much. So they don't need to have that much movement from their side, and also they had an advantage of the map. They can look at the map as to where the position of ABC is here right now.
Yeah.
But the chopper gameplay come from ABC proves to show that there's no point for them waiting. They can go to a different side and be able to get some kills out there or probably survive just in case they know it's a metaverse right here. And you mentioned, AJ, that the metaverse has fallen off in there, but jumping in onto this qualifiers, they're one of the best. They are one of the teams with the highest from the previous qualifiers right here.
Oh, yeah.
A total of 120 for these teams, and I think they still have what it takes to be able to top it off. But Vagabonds, as you mentioned, might be one of another team. They will not be playing here right now in the first half, but that is how the placement of each team for each bracket has been set in play properly as well as systematically.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, Amethyst Esports, they may still be one of the top flight teams, but how dominant are they gonna be in that podium finish round after round? We will still have to wait and see. But the one good thing here is perhaps they do not have to deal with the players of Vagabonds Esports just yet. Amethyst Esports should be able to feast quite well on this lobby. But we also have to remember, we have got the 13 Academy in here. Glad, Tom Peeps, Lynn, as well as Angel Cutie. And this team can really spring a surprise on any squad out there, man. I mean, I've been watching them for a while now. Super solid with the strategy. Always very careful with their approaches. And as you can see here, we've also got the Rewind class on Tom Peeps. He's ready for some hilarious action out there. I really wonder exactly how is his class going to help him out in some of these battles on the battlefield that we might encounter later on, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of confusion will be brought in, and that's what I'm talking about. The confusion right there with the Rewind class. Tokyo is the only one remaining here in front of ABC, and we'll have to find out how well will he go in for the back and forth right there. Oh,
Yeah.
AJ, I love how well this pro is using those class, but unfortunate for them, Rogue was able to take down Tokyo. And with that Rewind class, really, I mean, how well they time it and understand where they will be going the moment they trigger it. That is what I love seeing here from these pro teams.
Let's see exactly how they will continue moving on in here as the players of Team G, PV Esports main, disengage and back away from that situation. Antelope right behind them if they would like to reposition with the vehicle. And as you can see right above them, that aerial platform will come into play as well for a little bit of repositioning if they choose to hop on up and then fly away. Alibaba clan right up in the air, and Grim has got the perfect weapon, the M4 LMG in hand, to spray them down and out. You know, all of the vehicles have been quite the stellar, addition into the game. And for a long, long time, those vehicles were an unhealthy balance in the matchup, giving teams a lot of advantage. But ever since the grenades can now take them out in a couple of shots, Neptune, that's such a huge game changer, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's several instances wherein I, for once, is dying on vehicle gameplay, but no one's dying right now in the vehicle gameplay because VVV is going against the most wanted right now, and we'll have to find out if the Vindico will be able to be vindicted right here in this fight, or will they be taken down by the VVVs?
Let's see how much more of the players of K1 can continue surviving this, as Gyro has gotten chained into a dog tag. Yes, we'll be bringing out the hack just real quick, and the players of VVV, they come in here for the hunt. This is VVV Esports in the form of Wichi. Shot after shot, they tag those players up, but they are out in the open grounds as well, and all Wanda needs to do right now is just turn around and shut them down. They might be able to catch out the players of VVV out in the open grounds here, Neptune.
Yeah, this is really a hunt for the side of VVV, and it's really surprising that most wanted Vindico is running away from this fight. It's probably they spent so much time in that area, they didn't get that much loot, or they're also afraid that there will be other members or other teams who might be going against them. Sekri in there, just getting away in time, but Aero was able to take down Ives in there for the backup, and this is what we like to see from VVV. Despite of how long the run is, they will will be able to go and catch up and not stop the hunt. But it's so far away from the rest of the teams of Most Wanted. We don't know how well will they be able to catch up. And for sure, for those gunshots that we've seen or heard earlier, a lot of teams might be going their way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And VVV most definitely one of the teams that Amethyst Esports needs to look out for when it comes to the contention of the podium finish. All three teams of VVV Esports in the exact same lobby. We've got Veni, we've got VD, we've got VG, all three variants in here for the fight. And, you know, although the three teams being within the same lobby makes no difference to those players as they are all bringing their individual teams into battle, what is going to be making the biggest difference is the brand. The probability of the brand grabbing a podium finish through one of these three teams is super duper high, man. I mean, VVV Esports, you just gotta respect that. They've got so many quality players under their banner that they are able to send in those teams. And not only do they send in those teams, but to qualify for this stage, that just tells a lot as to how much of quality VVV has under their roof.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I am not mistaken because on this qualifiers and the semifinals, it's three members or three teams right there from the VVV Esports team, and this is the one of the brands that has the most number of teams out there compared to Vagabonds Esports and second half, where and there's only two. Oh, another thing, we have NRX as well in there, so I think it's balancing off on the VVV, and that proves to show how well these teams, the OG teams that we keep seeing right there on top of the leaderboards as well as top of the tournaments out there, are really putting it out in the open that they have what it takes to go in for the Survivor Championship. But we'll have to see how well these teams are going to go. And we're not seeing NRX 69. And if I'm not mistaken, when they left the platform, VV Esports stopped all those, or put in all those dog tags in a very difficult position with that vehicle as well as the traps. So I don't know if Mr. Flex was able to pull out all of their teammates or if there's still one member from their side. But there goes Remy in there. And just the moment I'm talking about that, there goes NRX going against VVE Sports, AJ.
Yeah, let's see if or not they will jump into an engagement here. Multiple dog tags out there on the battlefield, but not much for them to take advantage of. And as you can see, Most Wanted holding on to the vantage point here as they keep an eye on Armin and Rodzina, who very slowly try to complete their looting process. But with the bird's eye view, we can expect Most Wanted Vindico to set up a ambush in a couple of seconds, right after their players are right back in the mix. We hop on over to Team F as well, VVV Esports in the form of Vici. And they continue their hunt in here as Most Wanted back away from this engagement. It's just one player for the side of Most Wanted Vindico. And it looks like he will still get caught out here. And oh no, it's a third party. It is Team L. It is your one and only Syntax Error Gurkas. And they drop by to slay the VVV squad. Dre down on the ground already. Segway quickly repositions himself. And the top spot, the high ground taken over by the Gurkas. But it'll only be Hades now with the advantage.
And there goes only one remaining. Hades the only one in there being gunned down by Enra, but Enra in there wasn't able to make that much damage out in the open. Now let's see how well the rotation will work. Here comes Hades right now being chased, but will be backing off is Enra because there's a lot of teams already surrounding them. And this is what we talk about Battle Royale. Once you have those gunshots, we have teams who will be chasing you afterwards, AJ.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. And now 13 Academy dropping by to check out the play as well as they hear all of those gunshots. They're not going to go in here for a simple hunt on Hades just yet. And as you can see, the next circle is going to be bringing us into a potential water fight. And as players try to swim across that body of water, a lot of important decisions will be needed out there on the battlefield. But of course, we will continue on with this engagement first as 13 Academy continuously tries to spot out that one final player on the side of Syntax Error Gurkas. It was a lucky moment as VVV Esports were not able to finish them off, all thanks to 13 Academy dropping by to check out the situation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not just Syntax Era as well as VVV, because if I'm not mistaken, that was just a one member, or no, that is Most Wanted. One member from Most Wanted in there, who was surviving as well, trying to get those dog tags, but unfortunate for him, he wasn't able to get those dog tags clearly. Now, let's see how well a Metaverse is going in against VVV, and we are seeing a great consistency from the side of VVV. They're always going in for the battle, going in for the fight, and also with the number of teams who's already going in their rotation, they need to go and take as much kills as possible.
Yeah.
Unlike AMB, a Metaverse right now, they have 0 kills. They have the opportunity earlier against ABC Mystic, but they missed that opportunity because they were under that black market. So hopefully they'll be able to get them in this area, but this time it's existence right now we're looking at right now.
Yeah, let's see if or not they can back away from this engagement, because things are about to get a little hot. But the smoke bomb gets popped out, and it looks like Mad Gunners Esports will be caught out in the open. But the response comes through. Mamat now trying to catch out those players, but also at the very same time save his one and only Botch Cutie. And as Botch Cutie tries to get picked up here, Mad Gunners Esports, they'll continue putting on all of that pressure, but no grenades flying through the air just yet. And Mad Gunners, they will not be able to shut down their opponents in the form of CB1 main. Existence out there on the battlefield as well. Existence Valhalla, as they jump on into this battle, they will be able to swing by to their right-hand side and be the third party, but they now have to deal with Amethyst Esports, who comes through for the attack, but smoke bomb dropped by Xavi already. Needs to recover a little bit of the armor that he has on him, but look at Rald as well as Watts. They're trying to flank these players, but on this side of the hill here, they just do not have the ability to maneuver themselves quite well. And Amethyst Esports, they slow down their attack. Smart move from the squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they don't have a good position, they won't be able to get a good position. It's better for them to back off a little bit. They might have been waiting for that smoke to die down, but they are still not getting a move up on this team who is already on top, which is CB1,
Yep.
as well as Assistance Valhalla. And as also, we have the safe zone already moving in there, so they don't want to be caught on the crossroad wherein it is a safe zone from behind them and another team and on the other side. So that is smart move from a Metaverse right now, and they are going for that one member of Mad Gunners, and Lacrima right now is just flying around. And AJ, this pump class, the only glide that we keep seeing on the pump class, I love how teams are using this, as well as how performance of this pump to go against a complete squad, AJ.
Oh yeah, no doubt at all, man. I mean, the pump class, it does take a little bit of skill, though. You need to have unlocked it the very moment it was available in the game to take full advantage of the true mastery of that pump class. Because when you are a true master, dude, you just fly around in the air. You get a little bit of extra accuracy depending on what sort of mods you throw onto your guns as well. So it really can be a huge game changer. But if you just only recently unlocked it when it was available for the general public, then you are on the losing end. Amazing shutdown coming through as Amethyst shuts down Mamat. CB1 main losing their player as well. But now all of the players of Mad Gunners Esports with Big Bertha as well moving on for the takedown, but Timothy very easily sprays them down, and Amethyst Esports not backing away from this engagement, but instead they eat up all of those players like a free meal.
Yeah, free meal indeed. I mean, they need to catch up on the points. So far, they have 3 or 4 kills already. And we pointed out earlier, they had 0 when they jumped in on that battle. And staying in there on that side, waiting for CB1 as well. Mad Gunners to go in with that safe zone. Gave them the opportunity, and the gatekeeping for the side of a Metaverse really put in onto paper. Now, Existence Valhalla was also part of that scrimmage earlier. But we'll see how well will they be able to go against, because a lot of teams are already in here and also being magneted by this airdrop. And here comes VVV being taken down, and Sato is down as well as the from Existence Valhalla, AJ.
Yeah, that execution wasn't as perfect as Existence wanted it, but now Sekre, he has got that height advantage. Pops out the smoke bomb for an extra bit of advantage over the Existence players. But now as he goes in for those wild shots, Sekre does not knock anyone down at all. Jeswo getting the job done. Zawi as well as Bree taken out of the information, and Sekre, he's still trying to find his footing out there. A little bit of a blooper reel here, but I guess the smoke bomb truly helped out in that situation, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was able to get some of their teammates to be able to back out and get this position under the bridge. But we'll see how well will that, because they will be weighted on by the teams on the other side. Now, going into the 13 Academy, they're going against AMV, and this is top teams against top teams from what we've seen so far in the performance of these two teams who are in here on the high grounds.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do not forget we have got some giveaways coming for you guys. So please do hit that like, please do hit that share. The initial qualifier to get that giveaway should be the shares. If you guys don't share this stream, you do not get to win the giveaway. Who made that rule? I just made that up right now. But if you if you do pity us, please do hit that like and share, man. We really appreciate it. Amethyst Esports, they turn left to right. Grim all tagged up, but manages to get behind the hill to save himself. But now an open ground held on by Amethyst Esports. It is the players of 13 Academy that will be able to pressure them, and as they move in for the shutdown, Tom Peeps just does not find that angle. No headshot can be taken just yet, and a good smoke out from the side of Amethyst Esports, and they've knocked out Angel Cutie and taken out Angel Cutie from the competition as well. Right back to the lobby, and Amethyst Esports, they still maintain their dominance.
Metaverse Esports already with 6 kills and moving in for the hunt against 13 Academy. In play will also be VVV, a move by Ron right now in here, going up and trying to get a higher ground to be able to take them down. But Aindra will be waiting. Will Aindra be taken down? It's a 1v2 on the bridge, and there's round. And what right now will be next? But the jump is on and a chance to go in the safe zone, but unfortunate for them, Aindra is down.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Look at the gatekeepers here. It is the one and only VVV Esports. Benny, what did we say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Amethyst Esports needs to be really careful because Benny, Vici, they'll be coming for that podium finish as well. And now watch the final player on the side of Amethyst Esports trying to play the game of survival. Finds Paul, tags him up, drops him on the ground, and so close to deleting him. But this wall will save Paul from the brink of annihilation. And it's gonna be Ad who finds a couple of shots. It is a full squad of VVV right out there on the battlefield. Duda needs to reposition, all tagged up by Watts, and this guy is continuing to be a pain in the sides of VVV. Duda now dropped down onto the ground, and this time Watts finishes him off.
And Watts is really on fire, bringing the team already on an 8 kills. Roll, and we'll have to see. Oh no! There goes the hit from the other side. That is an M21 EBR, a very annoying sniper out there, but being solo, AJ, bringing VVV Benny in there for the winner, and there goes the first round.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, amazing performance coming through from VVV Esports. Like we said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Amethyst Esports might be very dominant out there on the battlefield, but it has to be, or they have to be careful of teams like VVV. We also managed to catch a little bit of a good, solid performance out of 13 Academy as they got down to that final zone, but they just could not hold their own against Amethyst Esports, and that was mainly positioning, and they just took way too long outside at the very edge of that zone, continuously looking for Amethyst Esports. And that was my, one of my highlight plays as well on the side of Amethyst, right? Very quickly popping out those smokes, making sure there's a barrier in terms of obstruction, making sure the players of 13 Academy do not spot them out at all. Not only do they survive that engagement, because they were being pinned down by 3 different teams. VVV had a high ground as well. And Amethyst Esports, they survived all through that battle. I mean, pretty valiant effort from them. But as they try to make their way in, VVV, they were the gatekeepers of that final ground there, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more a positioning for their side. We haven't seen them on the earlier engagement that have been shown so far. So I think that is where 13 Academy, as well as a Metaverse, has been focusing. Getting on the engagement, getting those kills, as well as a good placement. But compared to the 10 points that will be gathered by VVV Esports, Benny, we'll have to see if that is enough for them to catch up with the points that has been gathered for those who have been really at it in the kills department, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And kills are going to be super duper important in this particular competition because of the format. You guys saw the points format out there. The most number of points from placement you can grab within one round is a maximum of 10. Everything else comes through from the kills, which means the points gap between all of those placements for the top 10 teams are super duper close. So if you're finishing up in the top 10 out of the 16 groups in here, you really want to make sure you're getting into those engagements. You're securing some of those skills for yourself, not just getting into an engagement and then being sent back to the lobby, right? So the method of engagement needs to be a little bit more refined as well. We did see a battle out there. Not going to be calling them out just yet because it's the first match jitters. But, just the engage, like we said, right? Fewer number of teams, which gives you more time to dictate out there in the battlefield on whether or not you want to jump into a battle. And we still see some of the teams rushing through the map, which perhaps might need a little bit of tweaking, especially now that we are heading in for a FPP matchup, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, changes in the scene will be different. And if you were already there down low, and we mentioned how well these teams are already versed on the TPP side. Now, going into a FPP, if I'm not mistaken, that is an FPP. Oh, no, this is a Blackout TPP. But before we go there, AJ, I think we have a surprise right now in here for this, for the viewers out there who have supported us so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here is the rare wish crate, and these are limited, so make sure you redeem them as soon as you see the code available. And we will have a few of these crates to be given out, so stay tuned. We will not tell you exactly when we're giving them, because then you'll only jump in for those parts, right? I don't know just yet, all right? But please stay tuned for the full battle of the day. This is a totally new format that is being introduced by Garena, just so that the Battle Royale scene is revived. I mean, it's been quite the heartache seeing Battle Royale not be the true focus in the most recent past. But things are about to change. And the moment Garena decides to focus on the BR scene once again, we get $25,000 to be split as a prize pool, and that is so huge. So all of the teams that have been sticking by that BR game mode for all this while, not really worrying about a prize pool that was quite stagnant for a bit, they are on the winning side because they focused on being the best, like Vagabonds Esports here, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and also this is where such as Battle Royale is really in play for the team team performance. This is where everyone who is in here, and I'm talking about everyone, AJ, together with the viewers, this is where every one of us in the COD community can really make this grow further. If you will be able to share the stream, stay in there for the length of the whole duration that we are in here, then we'll be able to get more of this. And same as what we pointed out earlier with the numbers, AJ, this is number game. This is a numbers game, from the games, from the battles, as well as the viewership, and also for those of you who are liking and sharing in there, that is the battle that we need to win. And with all those like and shares, and also the support that you have in there on Facebook as well as YouTube, and we'll be able to win it with just like that.
And of course, at the end of the day, and this was one of those battles that we were watching earlier on as well. Amateurverse Esports, every single time they get cornered, every single time they get double challenged, it just doesn't seem to phase them at all. Very quickly, they play their tacticals, right? You see those smoke bombs being dropped instantaneously just to obscure the view of the other teams. And then they still manage to strike through the smoke just by knowing exactly where those shots are coming from. You need to be super observant out there, the battlefield, and super careful with your approach as well. And that's exactly what Amateurverse Esports were all throughout this battle. And this was the point where they were taking on two teams at the very same time and still managed to come up on top. Even Big Bertha couldn't do much against them.
Yeah, definitely. And it's most like one of this quote, AJ, that I've read: the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. I think it's more of how they studied the gameplay and also the other teams that they have in there. Thus, they are not really phased, regardless of who's surrounding them. They are not phased. They are going in there all out and thus getting a lot of kills. And from the scene, we're at 10 kills for the team and 3 surviving members. That is a lot already. Providing the length that they've stayed in there, as well as the enemies that they went into going into this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And there is one continuously changing variant in the game, and that is going to be your aerial platform, because although some of these top flight teams have got their own preferred drop zone as according to whichever way the flight path takes them, one spot that continuously changes round after round is going to be your aerial platform. And I was actually quite shocked to see teams heading there at the start of the matchup in itself, man. I mean, that's quite the daring approach if you ask me, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, from the other tournaments of the Battle Royale that we've seen so far, major tournaments that we've seen, not a lot of people are going into the platform. Well, it's back then as well. It's very annoying because people are just moving up and down and up and down and up and down. And it's not that good to watch. But from what we've seen earlier, apart from the daring part, and they have shown great strides to be able to dominate. And that was Phoebe Esports who dominated that area in there, just stayed the longer. But this time, it is AMB Watts who's really showing and staying the longer despite of the 4 members of BVB in there going against them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Watts just brought in the Pusangala strategy. You know all of these Wildcats, they're constantly climbing onto high areas, high spaces, and just annoying all of the people. That's exactly what Watts was in this particular matchup. And I think he did a really, really good job up there, man. I mean, he managed to get the knock onto Paul earlier on, and Paul couldn't even heal himself up in such a hectic situation. And then he just turns around, takes out yet another player. But unfortunately, we did see the player Jesuo having the M21 on him, and just a little bit too accurate, man. The M21 has taken over as the best sniper in Battle Royale in recent times, Neptune. And of course, BVB Esports, Benny, they secure that #1 spot, but they have to be ever more careful out there on the battlefield, because Amateurs Esports, they're not too happy that they came so close and not finished that off in that #1 spot just yet.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned about M21 EBR, how as being the best sniper. Talk about annoying. I mean, it has been annoying in there. Being hit once with a sniper is bad enough. Being hit multiple times with the M21 EBR, and then you'll be knocked down in there not knowing where it was coming from.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, some may call it the noob gun, because you get to, scope in and take those quick rate of fire back to back, which makes it quite the formidable gun out there on the battlefield. In fact, the SVD was the gun that was providing us that opportunity with the rate of fire until the M21 just very quickly took over that #1 spot, right? But I'm still waiting for the day where our Arctic 50s make their return for me to start maining that sniper on BR once again. I just love the sound of those gunshots that leave the barrel of that Arctic 50, man. But of course, going back to more serious stuff in here, that's been battle #1, Neptune. Your thoughts on the dominance from some of these teams?
I mean, it's most of the rotations that we have seen already for the team. They know how to move in time of the safe zone in there. And you mentioned as well as it's important because the final circle is on the water area. And that's very difficult to go into. So hopefully we'll be able to see more of the tactics and the viewers out there to learn more of how the rotation works for this. But AJ, that is round #1. And I think the teams also need a little bit of a break right here. So I am Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. Together with me is the amazing Mustachio AJ. We will be going for a quick break, but hopefully you won't be going anywhere because we will be right back. Welcome back, CODM fans, to the Garena Survivors, brought to you by Garena Call of Duty Mobile. And we have seen and witnessed round number 1 in there unfold and showing us who have it takes to be the number 1 in that game. But that was isolated, and we'll have to see how well will they be going in on the other maps that we're going to go in this matches. Now, we are your casters, your host for today. I am Neptune, the Jeremy Garcia. Together with me is the amazing, the legendary Mustachio AJ, bringing the action live into your screens.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And it has been quite a cracker of an opener. VVV Esports really proving their worth out there on the battlefield. And we did not just see a single VVV team step up their pace, right? Veni, Vedi, as well as Vici, all 3 teams performed phenomenally in this particular lobby, which is why I said, although Amethyst Esports looks like one of the dangerous names out there, they've fallen from their previous dominance that they used to bring into the competition. And very quickly, some of these other teams, they are catching up. Obviously, VVV Esports, they've been in the ecosystem for a long, long time now. But I've got my eyes on 13 Academy, Neptune. They seem to be catching up with the top dogs a little bit easily with all of the maneuvering that they bring forth, especially with their positioning in some of these battles. And not just through this competition, but some of the other competitions that I've watched 13 Academy in here so far, they always are supreme when it comes to their positioning, always thinking very carefully before they engage. But, you know, you kind of lose out on some opportunities to kills as well. And like what we understand, those kill points are going to be super essential in the league.
Yeah, definitely. And well, going back to 13 Academy, this is a combination of different teams. This is a new name, actually.
Yeah,
13 Academy
correct.
is a new name and combination of teams coming from this different teams that's also, if I'm not mistaken, also part of the Garena Survivors, especially Tom Peeps was member of Existence. So putting all of those minds together really brings in a good combination to be able to dominate the scene, knowing the ideals and as well as the tactics from different clans as well as teams out there. But you mentioned as well about the kills, and I think in a bit we're going to see, or later on we're going to see how the kills manage to really put out a fight in there. And we mentioned earlier, AJ, that Veni was not really being shown that much onto the game, but later on, once we have a scene in there, I think that the Veni was able to get a lot of kills as well from that battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, this is the second match that we are hopping into straight up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. For any of you who are quite curious about the positioning points that they have managed to pick up on earlier, as well as what the leaderboard looks like, you have to wait for until we get back from the second break later on. Before the start of match 3, we will show them to you guys exactly how these teams stack up against each other. And from the very early get-go here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's going to be yet another early engagement for the NDD squad. And it looks like NDD Action will have to buck up and loot up as quickly as they can, because they will be challenged by one of the leaders of the leaderboard, VVV Esports, Vini.
VV Esports Vinny right now going against NDD, and the positioning of VV right now is very tactical because they went in below, only 2 opening for their side for them not to be surprised. But we'll have to see how well will this work out, because also with that area there's not that much loot, so they need to move into a different compound, and this is what they're doing right now. But I think they also know, or NDD also know, the presence of VVV, thus they're moving the other way, and we will not be seeing a lot of engagement right now, close battle per se, because this map as a Blackout being that huge is mostly for the snipers. So the snipers like the M21 EBR, how annoying it is, will be very used in here much often, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I don't know what it is about the M21. I'm just not a huge fan of it, right? I really prefer those shots, the one-shot kills that the RT50 used to provide us. Okay, maybe not a one-shot kill, but at least a one-shot knock, right? The M21, on the other hand, you really need to be super accurate, especially with those headshots. But the rate of fire that the gun provides you, it just makes it into an automatic hack. Such a overpowered gun to be bringing into the battlefield out there. And I just haven't managed to see any counters for the M21 just yet. But maybe we'll find that in this competition, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And if I'm mistaken, with the recent update as well in Battle Royale, they brought back the XPR Fro.
Yeah.
They bought the XPR, and we'll see how well will that counter the M21. But you mentioned about how the meta of the game is in there, and Odin is another addition to the team, or to the guns that are in here being used by these teams, and it has been used that much. And I'm really happy how well these pro teams are going and using that in major tournaments just like this, provided that it's only few number of days wherein it has been introduced in Battle Royale.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I haven't tried out, or I haven't checked out the full potential of the Odin just yet. Haven't had a lot of time, to go out there and grind on the game. But watching some of these players just annihilate each other in the competitions using the Odin, on the other hand, I absolutely agree with you, man. I mean, the gun just made its appearance and very quickly taking over as one of the metas of Battle Royale. Greed managed to catch Joe, but Siora shuts down Greed. A good trade right back. It's going to be Flipix now as he heads on out. It's going to be Kaiser right in front of him, but no engagements will come through just yet. Supremo dealing with that situation, and VVV Esports, it looks like they might just struggle a little bit as they take on NDD. NDD Action, they are sick and tired of moving back into the lobby so quickly. This time, they stand their ground and they fight back.
And they are fighting back indeed. There's only one remaining member in there for the side of VVV, and I think it's more of a waiting game as well. They don't want to get another team in there coming back, taking those dog tags. But as we look in onto the right side of the screen, this is a glimpse of the leaderboard that we have from the first match that we've seen. And this is where Benny has already taken out, apart from the 10 points, AJ, there's also 15 for a total of 25 that Benny, or VVV Esports Benny, has taken. Thus, they have increased their chance on taking a lot of points as well as a win on so much game. Vichy will be following in there, as well as a Metaverse, but the top three right there, teams to really look out for.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And what a shocker is it to see even VD sitting down in the 5th spot. So in your top 5, 3 teams out of your top 5 right now are from the VVV clan. And it looks like Triple V is just out here to dominate, but Amethyst Esports as well as 13 Academy, if they can have a say about it, they will be looking to stop all of them. 4K now, 4K Zalatsky! Big kills coming through, shuts down Elves, and Amethyst Esports have found a contender. And now, if 4 Kings can pull this off, if 4 Kings can shut them down quickly in here, perhaps Amethyst will lose a little bit of the lead that they have up there on the leaderboard. Can this shake the players of Amethyst? The backstab now, Alatsky, very dangerous with the approach, but he manages to catch the side of Timothy, and he goes in for the hunt. Timothy, as he repositions himself, Alatsky not taking advantage of the situation, gets flashed in the face, and it looks like a vehicle has been found, and the players of Amethyst Esports, they will continue to survive for the time being.
And for the team of the 4 Kings, Alatsky, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Alat that we usually see going in for the clutch, going in for all of those awesome. And I mean, you know how well Alat was from
Yeah.
the most wanted team.
Yeah.
This is now Four Kings Alatski right now moving into the grind with the 4K, and we'll have to see how well Syntax Error will be able to go against them as they go in onto the roof. AJ.
Let's see what they pull off here. Syntax Error. They must have just punched in all of those numbers a little too quickly into the calculator. Hence the error. Anyone who does not understand the joke, probably too young, probably use your mobile phone as a calculator.
And let's see. I mean, it's very difficult right now for Alatsky, for Four Kings to go against them unless they have the ninja class, which is one can be used. But going in against four members in there of Syntax Error above, that will really bring out an error if they go for that. So 4K, I think they will remain in the bottom or second floor of this roof and just await them out, because it's patience is a key at this point. Whoever makes a mistake, whoever makes the first move right now will be able or will be seen as what approach they'll be using. And I think that is Alatsky right now going in there, going in for the grenade, and good tactics indeed, because just in case SE or Syntax Error moves in against Alatsky, 4K, the rest of 4K will be able to rush in towards them.
Yeah, and earlier on, we did see the Singaporeans from the side of ABC Mystic picking up 5 kills, but in terms of placement, they bagged absolutely nothing. Being one of the very few teams that represent the SG side, hopefully they can bag a little bit more this time around. But as we focus in on the players of 4K, it looks like the Four Kings have got more in terms of providing us a lot of that action to just lap up. As Syntax Error continues to stalk all of them from the high ground on top of the roof, refusing to back away, just waiting for Four Kings to make a mistake. But Togo might just be the one who makes that mistake instead, as Fright and Alatsky right in front of him, but he spots out Alatsky before he could even react, tags him up and forces Four Kings to continuously reposition. And the Four Kings are just waiting for that bait right now. Nobody's going by. VVV, they drop by to say hello. And Team VG want to get involved in this battle.
And that is the risk of Syntax Error in there. Apart from going in there, staying at that same field, same position for a long time, there's also out in the open in there on the rooftop. So a lot of teams are already waiting in there for those gunshots to happen. And there goes the rewind class, but a little bit too late because he's already been taken down. But good for Hades right now. There's a pickup that can be done, but we've seen VVV already go against them with those snipers. So it's also risky with no smokes in play.
Yeah, and 13 Academy dropping by to say hello as well. Everybody's joining the party now, Neptune. I mean, I thought this was a huge map, man. Why are these 16 teams all looking for the exact same compound? We are on fire right now. Four Kings, they will continue to be the survivors as the players of Syntax Error face an error on the roof. I told you, man, they punch in one too many numbers, and it is gonna be the 13 Academy that steps in to show them how to use a calculator. Lint now holding on to high ground, and he has to hope and pray that VVV does not continue to strike from afar, because Team VG earlier on, they did manage to find a kill, and they will continuously hunt from that high ground from afar and pressure all three of these teams who are holding on to this compound.
And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, one reason why a lot of teams are already in here, it's because of the gunshots and staying in there too long. So hopefully they'll be able to work that out. But Sato was able to go in for that kill, as we've seen against 13 Academy. And the positioning for the side of Sato will not be happening. It just will not be moving just yet. But oh my God, a Jewel in there will be dying out of the suicide. We'll have to see where will that go. Sato right there was able to go in for another takedown, and Four Kings is just staying their ground. They are in there, not panicking at all. They don't want to rush out because they don't want to be taken out from those above as well as from those surrounding them. So they will just be waiting for the vulturing actually for later on once everyone has been taken down.
And Sato looking to strike once again, spots out a couple of players. Alatsky quickly repositions, and Sato will not be able to pull one away. Sato now very slowly But he is putting himself in a lot of trouble here. Oh, inside of the vehicle. ORE for the win now. But those players will quickly scramble. And 4Kings, they spot out Sato. 39 left on his armor. And Sato does not get knocked down. But a good approach coming through. That ORV play, if it wasn't for that smoke, all of those players would have gotten smoked, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just like thinking what the 4K is saying. They just jump into the car and just say, get out. It is about to explode because Sato in there is just shooting them down and they just split up. It's a good thing they were able to go and fire back. Otherwise, a VVV might have taken them down because a lot of the VVVs right now are pinching them, knowing their position, knowing that they will be moving out of that scene.
This is so much better, man. It's so much better in terms of pushes coming through from the teams. A lot of them earlier on were going in for the rush. NRX 69 now very wisely spotting out the players of Amethyst, and they have figured out the meta that Amethyst is bringing into the competition. They're just sitting down at the very corner of the map, not engaging with anyone at all. But now NRX 69 with that very wise play as they spot them out. We will have to jump back and see if they go in for the engagement. But BBV, they continue the chase, and 4Kings, Alatsky out in the open. But a very timed smoke will block the view. NRX 69 on the other hand, they will shut down Roll, and that was the engagement that we were talking about. And Amethyst Esports will not be able to get away with that cheeky play.
And there you have it. And that's one good thing about NRX 69 being able to identify where Metaverse is. And when we thought that they would just be passing by, once they get the position, they can plan out a plan of approach to go against a Metaverse. Now we'll have to see how will that end. But going back to Sato right now, still putting a little bit of pressure of 4K. But this is not really a good position for side of Sato because it's not on high ground. It's pretty much level all throughout with 4K, so they need to move a little bit backwards or probably on the other side, use that ledge to get those kills as well as regroup with the team so that his back will be well protected by the rest of VVV. But going into the VVV right now, another team moving in against NDD, and NDD right now is in here. I think they will be tasting another VVV revenge.
And Duda, as he moves into the fight. No, sorry guys, I got distracted. It's gonna be Ad as he repositions. They want to look for that roof. Using that zip line to reposition is a really smart way to cover a lot of ground as NDD continues to move away from this battle, but they will leave Mad Gunners to deal with the rest of those players. And VVV now, they have got that opportunity in Paul's hands. M21, can he catch Sexy off guard? Smoke bomb dropped and Sexy saves his own life.
And then there you go. On the other side, we have a Sec right there taking the Wise, but Paul is still on the hunt against the Mad Gunners, and we'll have to see how well will they be able to go against them. The push right now, but Mad Gunners, I think they really are in here to go and get in those kills. But the vehicle gameplay will be very, very useful, especially in the vast map that is Blackout. So if they will not be going for the push, I think they will be backing away and probably gatekeeping some of the teams right now who might be on the other side. And there is what we're going to see right now on the side of Alatsky. And there goes a hit right now against Syntax Error. And Error going in there. There goes the error for that team.
Amen, brother. And that's exactly why Alatsky is your slayer on the side of the 4Kings. The guy managing to back those 4 back-to-back kills and now moving on through. But look at that. The Mad Gunners, they are coming in for a fight. But are they picking a battle that they cannot hang with? Sexy. It looks like they might just be biting off more than they can chew. And here comes Alatsky, not thinking twice, chasing that vehicle down, pops his smoke bomb, and once again the slayer on that vehicle, missing him by a couple of inches. And Sexy now getting sprayed down. Alatsky once again with the pressure finds the back of Sexy. This guy is on fire, Neptune.
4 kills already to his name and will be going for the 5th before being taken down in there with the help of Safe Zone. But here comes Fright right now for the help, and we'll have to see how well will 4K go against them because they have spent already a lot more of time outside the Safe Zone. There goes a hit against VVV, but back away in there, avoiding that trap, and 4K will be moving out, but will be back later on once they have regrouped.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Alaski now needs to recover some of that armor that he has on him. Kyun loses his armor. He jumps into an engagement, but they are not ready for this just yet. But of course, as the Four Kings reposition, they will try to avoid as many as possible all of those gunfights for the time being at the very least. And now this is the moment that all of those players quickly try to look for a brand new position as they want to stake their defense. And that's one of the most annoying things about Blackout, man. You've got so much of that open area and so many of those players bringing in the M21 for the play. Yes, that gun might not be the quickest to drop a player down onto the ground, but with the open grounds and the unlimited rate of fire, Alaski's right back at it, man. Groucho now bites his bullet.
Alaska right now is no stopping him. I mean, there has been nothing stopping him. He can go on a 1v3 at ease and not be phased right now. But with the combination of the teams of 4K right here, plus Tokyo. I mean, Tokyo, how well he used this the shotgun gameplay, the 360 and all tricks that we've seen so far from all his videos. We'll have to see that in play right here. But so far, the star of the show for the Four Kings is Alatsky. Now, moving in back to NDD right now, they have survived the battle. But so far, they only got one kill from that fight that we've seen earlier where they started the fight. Now, we'll have to see how well NDD will be going in for rotation, but I think they are being chased right now. And here comes 4K, still no stopping down.
Yep, Kira now all tagged up, but the takedown does not come through as Sprite now needs to reposition himself as well. But look who's leading the charge. Alatsky not skipping a single beat, going in for the shutdown. They find the players of NDD. They want to cut off all of their access, and they continue the battle inside of the zone. Kira this time knocked down by Fright as he continues his onslaught. And Kira, no pickup going to come through from the rest of the players of NDD as they continuously continue to run in to find a safe ground for themselves. Open ground. That's exactly what Blackout is known for, and it just does not seem to be the best place for NDD. But Four Kings, they're taking the wide open battle as well, not really caring for their safety all that too much. Can that now be the advantage that the other teams take? Because Four Kings, they're all out wide in the open.
Well, we know the movement. We've seen the movement of Four Kings already. I mean, how they avoid the gunshots as well as position themselves in a better spot right now. But we're seeing Tokyo Alaski moving out of the way. They don't want to be stuck in the middle of everyone else. Now we have Existence Valhalla right now. Oh, Devil right here going in for the shot. But this is what we're talking about. Despite of how quick you go when you have a proficient sniper with an M21 EVR, you will be taken out. But Sato in there bringing there the response against KKPG or Existence in Valhalla right now. Yarnara and KKPG will be going in for the pickup, and Tokyo as well going in for the pickup of Alatsky.
Yeah, and RX-69 still alive and kicking out there on the battlefield, but for how long more? Four Kings, they know that they need their King Alatsky, the one and only dominant player from their side who's just so cheeky out there on the battlefield, is right back up on his feet. And VVV now, they shut down the players of Existence one after the other. Sekre as well as Dre, the deadly duo going in for the final finisher alongside Sato, and KKPG gets caught out in the open. Both players, my lord, Alatsky from afar shuts down Sato. Alatsky strikes yet again.
Alatsky right now together with the Four Kings right here about to end the fight. They are going back and forth in there. There goes the takedown against KKPG. Existence has been taken out already. It's now left to two teams right here, and Four Kings. All they have to do is hunt, and there goes Dre being taken out by Tokyo, and we have a winner for round number 2. This is the Four Kings in the house.
And the Four Kings was so dominant out there on the battlefield after a lackluster performance in round 1. Within round 1, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I believe they only picked up a maximum of 3 points. Yes, through the 3 kills, they did not get any placement points whatsoever. But this time, the Four Kings, they managed to pick up 19 blazing kills out there on the battlefield. And I'm pretty sure, I think at least 50% of that came through from a guy called Alatsky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, we cannot take our eyes off Alaski right there. We've seen how well he
Yeah.
go against and take. I mean, not being gunned down really, as well as gunning down the opposing team, and that is what Alaski has brought in here for the Four Kings, and I think they
Yeah.
are in here to move up onto the leaderboards. They know they didn't perform for the first round, thus performing very, very well on round number 2.
A little too well, bro. I mean, I think 19 points through the kills, 10 points from placement. They have gotten 29 points. They have secured more points than Veni got from their victory earlier on in that number 1 spot. They have gotten more kills than any other team in the competition so far. But of course, we haven't seen Vagabonds Esports in performance. I mean, speaking of Vagabonds Esports, I know the name keeps coming up even though they're not in this group, but they've just been that dominant force in the Battle Royale scene. And nobody has been able to match up to them in terms of aggression as well as consistency. But we might just be able to find the birth of a brand new team that can match up on those two accounts within this group through the group stages here.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of Vagabonds Esports, I mean, all throughout the qualifiers up until before jumping in on the semifinals, they have been able to get an average of 20 to 25 kills per game or per round in there, and that is what we call consistency for the team, regardless of you're only going in there for the top 16, top 8 or whatnot. They are in there spreading those fire and those kills all throughout the tournament.
And that's what's insane, man. I mean, we just saw the amazing approach by Four Kings, and they slayed out there on the battlefield, bagging 19 kills. And you are telling me, Neptune, that Vagabonds Esports grabs anywhere in terms of an average between 20 to 25 kills per lobby? That's insane, man. The lowest number is still better than the outstanding performance of Four Kings. And that's why I am super stoked to see the Vagabonds Esports clan right back in action when we get to their group. But of course, focusing on Group A once again, it was going to be a dominating performance that we anticipated from the side of VVV Esports, and they continue to live up to that expectation, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen them from the first round wherein they were able to get a lot of points from being a top 3 in this game. And then going in the second round, how well they positioned themselves as well. Take advantage of the wrongdoings of other teams who are going into battle, keeping distance, knowing the meta, understanding the gameplay of Blackout. And that is where we really see pro teams such as VVV Esports.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And VVV Esports, they take all of the feedback that they hear on broadcast very seriously, right? They know that they don't want to get over aggressive, but at the same time, they know that they need to continuously pick up those skills. So the best thing to do in this situation is find a really good high ground. Make sure you've got your eyes placed all around you. You've got the 360 view in terms of defense, and then you send out one sniper with the M21 to bag a couple of kill points for the squad. If at all anybody brings the fight to you, and then you deal with it. And that's the approach that I've noticed VVV Esports kind of taking in these lobbies. They just want to continue on with their trajectory, looking for those safe zones, looking for those safer circles. But as they position themselves, if they do come across any teams, they do not back away from a battle, man. And that's one thing that I really admire about VVV as well. Being able to dictate each and every single one of those engagements because of how greatly skilled they are out there on the battlefield. But of course, to take a quick recap of this game, when we started things off, it was the Four Kings that took on the mighty Amateurs and continued to prove the narrative that Amateurs Esports seems to be losing a little bit of their dominant grasp on the competition.
Yeah, I mean, this area is where Alaska really popped off in there. When that was quite a surprise on the rush by Alaska right there. Going in solo, knowing there's a lot of footsteps that is not his teammates, but he just rushed in, and that is where we keep mentioning no one a member is not being faced because how well they prepared, as well as they know the movements that they need to do, regardless of how small the area is. And that was 4K being, doing what they do best in here on this area as they move on together with a safe zone, taking kills after kills and not backing off, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm very happy to see the inclusion of the player cams in Battle Royale as well. Very excited to see some of the reactions from these players. And Four Kings, they were just absolutely stoked earlier on as we saw their faces. And they rightfully deserve to celebrate, man, because once again, we have to emphasize Four Kings, they bombed out in that first round. They only managed to walk away with 3 points. And that's just abysmal performance looking at who the Four Kings truly are and what they're capable of out there on the battlefield. They lost Alatski really early on and they couldn't really sustain themselves in that first round. But in the second round, they just ran circles round and round around the other players. But another team that also ran circles were VVV in the form of Team F in here. But, just when you expect VVV to kind of slow the pace down, Vici steps it right back up, man. I wasn't expecting them to get to the final circle with some of their positioning earlier on, but Ray just made sure he survived long enough to pull in the maximum number of placement points for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they know how to balance it off on the kills and placement. And just in case they're not making that much kills at that point, they will make their way through to get a good placement point. And there you have it, guys. We have the winner of round number 2. This is the Four Kings, and a very, very exciting round number 2 it is, AJ. And given it's a blackout, when we are expecting that it's a big map, only 16 teams jumping in, and it might have been very, very slow if not for the initiative of our winners, Four Kings.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sir. And Four Kings, I hope they continuously bring in the consistency, and I hope that the other players alongside Alatski can continuously step it up in terms of gameplay, because they seem to be depending on Alatski just a little bit too much now. And Alatski, in his own accord, is popping off a little bit too aggressively out there on the battlefield. See, for example, the point that you brought forth, Neptune, is the fact that he kind of went in there for the rush solo. And if there was no, proper backup, or if things had gone sour in that position, then Four Kings would have gotten taken out early once again. But of course, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Rare Wish Crate is available for you guys. Once again, these are limited, so make sure you take advantage of the break to claim it for yourselves. Don't go off anywhere, because we've got more of those crates coming up for you as well, don't we, Neptune?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot more surprises for you guys, and not just for the crates, but also for the engagement. Speaking of surprises, this is one of the best surprises we're going to see later on, because we're going to switch it on an FPP. But once again, we are your casters and your hosts, and we will be right back bringing you more excitement later on.
Welcome back to the Garena Survivors, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustache down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, bringing you all of the hottest action in CODM BR from the Garena side, right? But here's the thing, all of the hottest action as all of these teams try to provide out there on the battlefield, there's one guy outshining them in terms of performance, and that has to be Alatsky. The Four Kings, with their valiant effort in just that one match, are right back in the top 3, bro. And that is insane, because if you look at teams like, VVV Esports in the form of Vichy, they had to survive over 2 matches and provide, great performances, pulling off 16 points and 17 points first match, second match. But Four Kings just needed one single round to get right back up there into top play. And that just shows the quality out of this team. But the question then goes to, what about consistency, Neptune?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going in bottom on the first round and then going in top on the second round, not really consistent, but not that much data, really, because it might be a first game jitters, as you mentioned, AJ. So we'll have to find out. And as well as another thing that needs to be considered is the FPP mode that we're going to move in right here. There's round number 3 and round number 4. So we'll have to see how well will this teams, and if the movement will still be the same as they go in here on that perspective, AJ, because we've seen a lot of turnarounds and rushing in there on the TPP, but it will be hindered on the FPP side.
I don't know what to expect out here, and I don't know whether the teams are going to be severely affected by the change of perspective from TPP to FPP, but I'm looking forward to seeing if or not the type of dominance that we see out there on the battlefield is going to be consistent, whether or not we change it from FPP to TPP or, go back and forth through it, right? Because if the teams are still able to chug out the similar type, or at least close as possible to the type of consistency that we've seen in here so far, then we can expect the same teams to dominate. But that's what I'm hoping not to find. I'm hoping for this miracle game changer to give some of the other teams who have been struggling in the competition so far a little bit of footing in here. But I don't know if I'm asking too much, though.
Yeah, it's not too much, AJ. It's good thing that it can be balanced as well, not just for the maps, but also for the perspective, because we might not know that some teams are really proficient on the first-person view, thus they have more advantage in there, and the switching of there will not bring it one-sided to, or not tip the balance to one side or to one set of teams. But here we have it. We have the first person view right now, back in isolated, and the movement of the flight path is coming from practice range up into the frigid wetlands. And so far, no team has landed on the same spot just yet. And I think this time, AJ, they might be a little bit cautious because of the changes of scenario. And that's just me assuming.
Well, I would assume the exact same thing as well, man. But look at this, Team E. They are going to be hot dropping in here. BVB Esports, Vidi. They once again find themselves in a little bit of hot soup. But Four Kings, they will find the company of Team Veni from the side of BVB Esports. And now Veni quickly heading on in. But I do hear the chopper being teased out there. So perhaps one of these teams is going to be stealing the chopper, trying to get out of this vicinity as quick as possible. But it does not seem to be the plan from the side of BVB Esports. Four Kings, it is going to be Tokyo. Eating the shots as Amethyst Esports finds them as well. This is yet another hot drop in here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's see exactly how these two VVV squads survive.
Yeah, and one thing about this is because if they're playing first-person view, they will be going for the snowboard, because the snowboard will give you a third-person view as they jump in there, and you'll be able to monitor your surrounding using that vehicle. Now, also from that snowy area is the advantage of that choppers, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot in there, around 3 from the northern part of isolation that we've seen earlier from the flight path. Thus, another advantage that can be taken by the teams moving up north. And we'll have to see if that will be taking, that will be the case right now, because VVV has already taken 1 kill in this area. They have a chopper, a getaway from the opposing team who they took down, and we'll have to see how much more will they be able to go and take for these kills.
Let's see what they have in store here for us as the players of VVV Esports, Gazer, White, Jill, as well as Ciora continue to hunt for something better for themselves, but it does not seem to be, easily available. Round number 2's performance out of Team Vidi has been a little bit disappointing, only managing to bag out a total of 5 points. So they should be looking for more in here. But with the change of perspective, it seems to have slowed down a lot of these players, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely, because they only have a limited view, a 180 view compared to the 360. Oh, yeah, 360 because the quickness of how they turn around on the third-person view. So it will be a little bit slow as well as hampered the movement that they can do because they might not be able to go for the slide jump and reverse that we often see. So they will be cautious. They will not be able to get away from gunshots easily because they don't have a clear view as well as to where it's coming from. It's more of the auditory senses that they will be utilizing right now, and we'll have to see how VV Esports in here. They started off on that platform, move into the launch base, and moving towards the rest of the safe zone. So we'll have to see how will this pan out. Now back to a metaverse right here. Still going slow, AJ, but Timothy has been taken down, and it's a little bit too far. They're spread out too thin in this gameplay. They need to recover and regroup. Otherwise, they might be seeing another low, or not really that low, but not that much of a higher position on the placement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And, you really have to be careful with all of your approaches in this matchup. And with the chopper in hand, 13 Academy will be flying in here for a quick pickup onto Lint. It will be the whole team, getting off of the chopper to loot up Sanitarium as quickly as possible. And as you can see, there is a dog tag of a player from Amethyst Esports from afar. So it looks like Amethyst hasn't really recovered from the previous battle that they took against the players of 4Kings, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've not gotten the hang of from the battle that we've seen earlier, because the metaverse has been stuck in that corner trying to go for the placement gameplay or the gatekeeping per se, because they were staying onto the edge and they were gunned down not just by the 4Kings but other teams as well from the hands of NRX69. So they need to catch up on the points, but going into the FPP, making it a little bit too slow will not be making it easier for them.
Yeah, but can we get the leaderboard up on the screen once again, please, production, so we can just take a quick recap as to what's happening. VVV Esports, Vichy sitting down and that number 1 spot once again, guys. 4Kings catching up to that number 2 placement with just one match, one performance in here. And that's just so impressive because Vichy had to fight over 2 matches and Vichy managed to get that 17 points from game number 2. Once again, consistency out of VVV Esports Vichy, but a little bit of a disappointing approach by Veni because they scored 25 points in total in game 1. But just like how the players of 4Kings bombed out in round 1, they bombed out in round 2, only picking away 4 points in total. So, hopefully they can catch up. But so far, the consistent ones have been Vichy. Not doing too much, not doing too little, but still maintaining that number 1 spot, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've talked so much about consistency and how well you can utilize a switching of kill mode as well as placement mode, and that is what the teams can or need to think about. If in case you will not be able to get as much kills, you're not in that position to get as much kills, prioritize on the positioning as well as a placement point. And once you're in there, we'll be able to gatekeep as well as wait out those who are in there moving in after the battle, thus increasing your chances of taking the top by getting those kills. At some point that works for some teams, some it will be reversed, but basically it's just a balance of both.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, the players of 4Kings dropping by to check out the situation, and it looks like 13 Academy is in the scenario as well. Alatsky not thinking twice, just jumping in straight for that encounter, and he might just end up regretting it because Lint is still up in the air. We'll be able to send down all of the information to the rest of the players of 13 Academy. And as you can see, the players of 4Kings, they want to reposition, they want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Alatsky catching up with Tokyo, Bright backing away from the engagement as well, and 4Kings need to back away from this 3-way battle, and they are going to do exactly that. Not as aggressive as we saw them in the previous match, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a more of the change in scenario or their perspective right now, and they need to be going in team after team or team versus team on this
Yeah.
case because they will not be able to view the rotations of the other teams who are surrounding them. Thus,
Yep.
they need to get a little bit of distance as well as utilizing the vehicles like the chopper to be able to
Yep.
pan out which of the teams are placed already surrounding them, thus taking the high ground, probably flying in later on.
Yeah, and I truly respect Garena for throwing in this curveball at all of these players because over the 2 years that we've had Call of Duty Mobile out here to go out and master, a lot of the players have been trying to master as best as possible those movements on the TPP. And, you know, like when you have already mentioned already, Neptune, jumping into FPP just changes the ball game so much. You immediately second guess each and every single one of your approach in these gunfights. And that just changes the pressure that some of these more dominant teams bring into the competition, allowing the teams that don't really get that aggressive out there on the battlefield to survive a little bit longer because they don't have to continuously take gunfight after gunfight. I mean, you're even seeing 13 Academy, one of the most aggressive teams out there in this particular grouping, backing away from such easy engagements that we know that they can bag. Although they do not know exactly who's in front of them, they have to back away and they will leave Armin and Rodzina with the high ground in here. But they will continue keeping that pressure up though, because if 13 Academy just continue to run away, Arma could have taken advantage with the high ground that they had. So amazing stuff from 13 Academy. Even as they back away, they do so ever so carefully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of a tactics right now that they need to work on, especially on this mode wherein they're not familiar or they're not I would say comfortable in this game. Now we are going to see 13 Academy right now, one from the top of our leaderboards, going against CB1 and ending the qualifiers at the bottom of the first half. We'll have to see how well will they be going against. We have a Boach Cutie right now in their armoring app and going in for the snowboard. And this is what I'm talking about. The snowboard will be one of the useful weapon in this game because it will give you more visibility of the surroundings, giving information for the team, thus for the approach to be more effective.
And if you're bringing in the pump skill, you better be looking for those upgrade terminals because the pump skill really isn't all that too pumped up when it hasn't been upgraded. And the players, obviously, as they try to maneuver themselves towards that upgrade grounds, will understand that it's just turned out to be one of the high tier engagement areas. And of course, the players of 13 Academy still keeping that pressure up, but Lin making one small mistake, gets tagged up, but repositions instantaneously behind the boulder and disengages from that battle. And 13 Academy, I have not seen them this patient in gunfights in such a long time, man. The last time I saw 13 Academy run away from a gunfight was never.
Yeah, I mean, it's a change of the scenario. And we're talking about FPPC. Oh, Boyet right now is in the works as Lit is still flying at them. Oh, there you go! Boyet has been taken down. The persistence of Lit and 13 Academy is now paying off. Now, with Boyet already down, there will be a chance for him to be picked up. And there goes a Boyet being taken down, eliminated from that game. It's more of a dog-dog gameplay, and Lint just have to wait.
Yep, and CB1 dropping by to check out the players of Arma as well. And therefore, Arma taking on two teams at the very same time. That dog tag is not gonna get retrieved anytime soon because of the positioning held on by the players of CB1. Doisu taking the fight up close and personal for the shutdown. Finds a player, but corrects, quickly repositions. Bosch Cutie, he will be able to bring in the fire, but Rayans gets shut down. Bosch Cutie, he brings in that backup, and CB1 maintains the pressure onto Arma. Can repositions, but Mama is quick on that chase. Lint now has that opportunity to shut down both teams, CB1 Mama, but he repositions inside of the warehouse, so no takedown just yet. Ken down on the ground. Odin as a contribution from the one and only Mamat, but Mamat now needs to make sure he tops up that, or he regens some of his armor. Those long off shots that continuously come through from the DLQ will not be a problem that they have to deal with anymore. But look at this 13 Academy. They have come in a little closer to check out the situation now, Neptune.
And there we have it. We have CB1 right now continuing the battle that they have for 13 Academy. But here comes Tom Peeps right now for the spray against Bryans. But Bryans will not be going out just yet with the smoke in there covering his exit. But Watch Cutie is the next target. Whoever shows up in here will be shut down by 13 Academy. But no one will be taken out just yet, as the safe zone has just given them a good cover on the left. The approach of 13 Academy will be on the right.
This is a GG for 13 Academy. They are in a terrible position now. And CB1, they can take advantage. But Brian does not recover his armor. Walks straight into that gunfight and gets sprayed down onto the ground. Glad takes him out of the equation. Tom Peeps trying to survive now. CB1, they had the high advantage. They had the high ground, but they messed up that approach. And 13 Academy now trying to survive this onslaught. Peeps going in for that pickup. If they can get the drop now, Peeps quickly recovering the situation. Doisu manages to shut down Angel Cutie from the equation, and 13 Academy, they will be able to survive that encounter, just losing one player, and Angel Cutie has been scanned right back into the action. We can see this Cutie hop into shortly, and 13 Academy survives that approach, Neptune.
13 Academy right now, when we thought that they will be taking it slow. Yes, they took it slow, but when they have the opportunity for a team versus team, we have seen them in there on a good killing spree for the side of their team. And CB1 right now with only one member remaining, if I'm not mistaken, we are now left with 14. So I think there's still one member remaining for CV1, and they will be struggling right now because the safe zone will be moving in, and very difficult for them to go back and take them in. But we'll have to see how well will this work. Is this VVV against VVV right now? High ground against high ground, AJ.
And all of those teams that have not picked up these stray dog tags need to make quick work of it. 40 seconds left in here for the final revival flight. If those dog tags are not retrieved, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's just a little bit too late. Jill now spotting out a player from afar, but does not take those wild shots. And it's going to be the players of PV Esports main that escape, and that player quickly repositions himself. And PV Esports, they have got the eye on the players of VVV now, but not taking those aggressive shots. They want to play their positioning well in here as well. Not giving away their position is going to be one of the advantages that they can hold over these other teams. Kyun from the side of Four Kings gets dropped down onto the ground. We have not seen Alatsky pop off this round, and that brings me back to the conversation of consistency. But of course, we have to respect that this is a totally different perspective from DPP to FPP. Huge game changer, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And this also opens up opportunity for those who are, who's more proficient on the FPP side. It's not just a one team who will be dominating, but also a chance for them to go in and fight it off on tournaments just like this. And speaking of which, here we go. Existence going against NRX. Mr. Flex in there will be taken down with Debu and Wilhelm the rush. Remy right now is in here being rushed from behind, and there goes takedown in there by Debu. And NRX X9 not looking good for their side. We have three members of Existence Valhalla in there, bringing in the fire and the thunder to their team.
Speaking of thunder, here comes another VVV Esports Venny catching up with the players of Existence. And Paul catches Yanara, takes Yanara out of the equation as well. And what would we say about those revivals, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Not available anymore, as VVV now continues to shut down player after player. They find themselves in a great position now towards their right. They have to deal with Most Wanted Vindico as well. So they quickly get that cover, will be able to stick on to the very edge of this zone, but quickly looting up the boxes of those players that they were just shut down as well. But Most Wanted keeping a close eye on them. Spots out 13 Academy. Angel Cutie from afar, but those shots do not connect. Mashu wastes such a brilliant opportunity.
An opportunity wasted indeed for side of Most Wanted, but still have a lot. They have the high ground, a lot of enemies in there on the other side. The VVV right now on to the northwest will be spotted, but will not be taken down. And it is very, very slow right now, because I think most of the teams, apart from the gun sight that they have against one of the team, they don't have that much visibility on their surroundings because of the switch of scenes on this FPP mode. Thus, they are taking it a little bit too slow, not too aggressive, but hopefully we'll see the light of day for the side of most wanted, going in for the aggressive approach that we know them of, and they are now going against 13 Academy, and 13 Academy on the low ground just scrambling to go for the higher ground. But we'll have to see how well will they be fighting here. 4K right now being chased, and Mashu still missing those shots.
Oh, great smoke bomb coming through. Mashu just pops one off, and Four Kings will not be able to leave that corner, all thanks to Mashu and his attack now. But Jesuo helping out the Four Kings unintentionally will pressure Mashu, and the smoke bomber does not get to take advantage of his smoke bomb. Fright drops Jesuo, and this is just turning out to be a crazy thing as the players of Four Kings turn their attention to VVV. So many teams all caught in the exact same tiny circle. They're aiming for each other, and it's just all-out chaos now as the Four Kings lose two back-to-back players.
And there we have it. We have Four Kings has lost two of the players, and VVV still dominating this high ground. No kills coming in just yet from the other side of their team, but so far 9 for their side, and that is a good advantage for this team of VVV. 9 kills already in this game, and this is still proven to be very, very difficult. And what I'm afraid of, AJ, really, is because of the passiveness that we are seeing from the team. The moment that everyone is close to each other, what pandemonium are we going to see when there are probably on the 6th or 7th round of the circle?
Yeah, I mean, we just witnessed that, man. Four Kings just lost their standing in the matchup so quickly. But two teams on the side of VVV. Make that 3. All 3 VVV teams still alive and kicking. Sato, the only one from the side of Vici, alive. But he will not go on out to show his face just yet. Duda gets taken out by Joel. This is some clan on clan action here as Joel just takes advantage of the situation, dropping each and every single player that he does spot out there. But Joel himself gets knocked down as he holds such an open ground, and in the open ground he loses his standing. White taken out of the equation. 13 Academy peeps now for the strike, takes Siora out of the equation as well. So many VVV players to eat up, and Tom Peeps just putting in the slugs one after the other for 13 Academy to grab the victory.
13 Academy in there. They started as slow, but now was in play. Oh, showing off in there in this fight. 13 Academy really becoming the bad luck for the other teams right now, as we have shown them fight it off on a TPP as well as make strides on an FPP. But so far, AJ, it was slow. I would say it was slow on isolated. On an FPP, what more are we going to expect for Blackout?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it was most definitely the kind of change in pace that we required in the competition, because CODM Battle Royale has always been super fast action, right? Back to back, you see them not thinking twice to jump into battle. You see Supreme players like Alatsky not thinking twice to get involved in a 1v4 situation. You switch that TPP to FPP, and everybody is a tactical player out there on the battlefield. Everybody is thinking of survivability. But as a matter of fact, it needs to be a thought that they keep in their heads even on those TPP rounds. But it's not the case, because a lot of these teams, a lot of these players have truly mastered the movements on TPP. These are the points that you brought forth earlier on that I absolutely agree with, Neptune. But when you drop them into FPP, it's such a huge game changer, because, you know, one of the biggest weakness of these players is they usually watch their own back. Now they need to depend on great teamwork to watch each other's backs. Like you said, that 180 viewpoint that you have on your side is not going to be enough to cover everything out there, especially if you're going to get backstabbed by one of these other players. And the smaller the circle gets, the more chaotic the presence of the other teams get. And that's exactly what broke down in that final circle there, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of, it also builds that teamwork for the team, because you will not be going in rushing solo in there, but going in at post game right now. So we have a team 2, and this is for the side of 13 Academy. They were able to get 14 kills. A team 5 right now from VVVD in there for 12 kills. And as we move along for the teams right now, we are seeing those numbers. So there you have it, guys. The end of round number 3 for the Garena Survivors. We're in switching up really,
Yep.
really gives us different perspective onto the game, as well as
Yep.
a lot of opportunity for those of you out there who might not, who might have been trouble in the TPP side going in, be able to pop off on FPP side, AJ.
And one thing that you can see that stands out here is that the kills are more equally spread out through each and every single one of those teams out there on the battlefield, which is really great to look at. Instead of just one team dominating, capturing all of those players in terms of kill points for themselves, you see that being spread out mainly because of the passive plays that we see out of these teams. I mean, the hyper focus here is purely on Group A. Group B is not going to be playing in here today at all. And the performance of these teams are just so distinct as we take this match to match, map from map, as well as perspective to perspective, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot more will be seen right here on this game. As we look into the highlights right now, we're going to review some of the things that happened right here, especially for the side of 13 Academy. And this is where they started off. They were backing off because they don't have a good visibility of armament as well as the other teams who are in this area of the kill house. But once they got that shot against Boyet, that's where they slowly crept in. And it's not just armament who they are battling out there. They have CB1 in there who was taking down one at a time. So that is a good position, a start point for the side of 13 Academy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And 13 Academy, it's not like they were struggling in the competition. They managed to achieve the top 5 earlier on already. They have been quite consistent with their approaches in these lobbies, and securing that #1 spot will continue to make them one of the dangerous teams that the other squads need to look out for. And Amethyst Esports, on the other hand, they continue slipping, which is something they need to deal with very, very quickly. And obviously, the focus on Amethyst Esports mainly is because of the dominance that they used to show us in the lobbies of the past. A brand that used to be able to secure the top 3 finish lobby after lobby, game after game, is now facing not just a little bit, but a lot of difficulty. But speaking of difficulty, achieving that podium finish, look at all 3 of those VVV squads achieving that final circle battle, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen how VVV, yes, they're always in the tournaments, but they're not performing that well from previous that we've seen. And right now, given that there are 3 of them, for me, I was expecting that this will be one of the team moving up compared to the rest. But as we look at right now, this is where all spread out. I mean, all of the VVV teams right here are proving that they are better against their own clan and not just against any other team. And that is what a healthy competition should be, wherein regardless if you're a teammate, I can compete with you knowing that I am a part of your clan.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there's just no mercy. Everybody's equal out there on the battlefield. We can be from the same clan, but there will be absolutely no leeway whatsoever in those gunfights. And 13 Academy will continuously punish anyone that thinks that they can take it easy out there on the battlefield. Once again, bringing in consistency from match 1 and #2 to maintain the top 5 position for themselves. And now grabbing that very first spot, I wonder how much they've been able to grab from the overall leaderboards. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, this action continues with round #4.
Welcome back to Garena Survivors, brought to you by Garena Call of Duty Mobile. We are halfway through on to today's series, and we are still here bringing you the hat action live on your screens. I am Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with these amazing AJ, and we have seen how teams has brought it slow on to the FPP scene. We're going to see another FPP scene later on Blackout, AJ, and I'd like to get your take on this.
And here's the thing. I love how the FPP mode has just changed so much in the battle, because we saw the aggression out of teams like BBV. We saw the aggression out of the Four Kings. But 11 Academy, they had a very slow approach to the whole competition as a whole. And now, on top of everything else, they've managed to show us that they can maintain consistency, because that is the word that we are looking out for here. Not just dominance out there on the battlefield, but consistency. You don't need to do just, great each and every single round. But if you can consistently put points on the board, then you are going to be able to swim around in the top 3. And that's exactly what we've seen 11 Academy rise up to. Because I believe with that performance, they would have been able to achieve exactly that. But between the number 1, 2, and 3 spot, that's the only thing we do not know of just yet, Neptune. Whether or not they've managed to secure which particular position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of consistency per se, as you mentioned, wherein regardless how dynamic it is, and we know how Battle Royale is already dynamic as it is. And we've changed, where Garena has put in the mix of FPP and TPP in there. It's more of how well prepared these teams are going into this mode, and how tactical they can go. And I think the consistency of tactics coming from 13 Academy has been in there already from round 1. We didn't see that much of too much aggressiveness from them. They are going in for a tactical approach to every situation. Thus, they were able to capitalize on that on round number 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And we did not see 11 Academy step it up too much, but once again, they were present in both of those lobbies, in lobby number 1 as well as lobby number 2, dominating all towards the final circle, and now maintaining their performance, maintaining their consistency into round number 3, also manages to bag them one of the most number of placement points overall in the competition. In terms of kills, they haven't really matched up to VBV Esports, Vici, as well as Four Kings, but they're getting there. They're closing that gap ever so slowly, little by little, and I'm pretty sure 13 Academy will be able to find the top spot for themselves. But, the presence of VBV Esports in Group A continues to stun me. All 3 teams doing extremely well, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And we pointed out earlier when I said I was assuming there's only one team that will be popping off in there out of the 3. But this time, with the performance of all 3 teams from Veni Vidi Vici moving up all on the on the final moment, where we thought Veni, especially in round number 1, Veni was out of sight all throughout the game. It's only the final moment, but they bag a lot of kills in there, plus the win. So these are the teams that we really need to look out for. They have been in there in tournaments after tournaments, not really popping off compared to the other teams that we mentioned already. But this time, this is a comeback coming from VVV Esports.
Oh yeah, and they continue to dominate out there, but for how long? And can they continue to remain consistent in the competition? Because after 3 rounds, I have to say VVV has been pretty consistent, and the teams that are doing quite well, in the upper half of the leaderboard, they continue to chug out the consistency. But there has been one team that started off on a high and now are very slowly creeping their way towards the bottom of the leaderboard. And that's Amethyst Esports. At the start of the day, we did see them in a pretty decent position, but after the previous match, they have now fallen into the lower half of the leaderboard. Your thoughts on that, Neptune?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the mix of some of the teams, especially 13 Academy, 4K, and VVV Esports, especially moving in from qualifiers to qualifiers. You can only meet some of those teams.
Yeah.
Thus, you'll be able to dominate the game with less distraction and less opposing opposition from this team. But this time being in the mix, it makes it difficult for them. Thus, they need to be a little bit passive at some point. Also, this is not their tactics. Passiveness is not that much of their tactics. That's why I'm assuming it's confusing their gameplay. Thus, they are caught off guard at some positions.
Yeah, and the players of Veni Vidi Vici, they have got the perfect setup out there. Not only do they have so many teams in this one particular grouping, they have got so many of those players who are able to make the brand proud. Like, we have to focus again on, the assumption that one team might be able to make it big, but no, man, all 3 teams showing that they can hang with the best, outdoing the other squads out there on the battlefield, which is most definitely a shocker. This time around, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we continue the FPP torture for some of these teams, the flight path will cut through Ghost Town all the way down towards construction site, which does open up the full part of the Blackout map. Any of these teams can hop onto any one of those compounds to loot up. And I will be quite shocked based on the flight path if we do see any hot drops out there on the battlefield, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, mostly the hot drops really is most of the time the turbine bring out a lot of choppers. As we can see, there's 2 out there already on that area. Thus, a lot of teams are already jumping in there. Most of them might be utilizing that to be able to get away quickly, position themselves to a spot wherein they will not have a lot of distraction as they loot them up. But VVV right now going against NDD, this is the battle that has happened from round number 2, jumping into Blackout, and I think they will not stop up until round number 6.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And we just did see a little bit of a boo-boo coming through from one of the players of 4 Kings. They did drop into Turbine real quickly, just one guy, and I believe that was to steal the chopper away. But we did see another player from the side of Armin and Rodzina with the exact same idea. And that chopper got taken away. And now we have one player on the side of 4 Kings out in the open all alone. VVV Esports, on the other hand, in the form of Vidi, they seem to be struggling as they take the hot drop against Team NDD Action and face their Wrath. But we also have got another squad in here in the form of ABC Mystic. And the players of Alibaba Clan, the Singaporeans, aren't doing all that too well in this grouping. Once again, the Filipino dominance, as expected, is shining through, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know how crazy the gameplays of the Filipinos are. And I'm not saying that like MYSG cannot pull out the same. It's more of, if we look at the greater picture, it's more of the tactics from the side of MYSG. That's what the tactics, that is what they are proficient of. And the FVP mode, as we mentioned earlier, might be a chance for them to really show off that side of Battle Royale, wherein tactics can be very useful. There's not much aggressiveness, thus they will be able to take a lot of points from here. But we'll have to see that from the side of Alibaba Clan right now. They are in the construction site and they are going against the 13 Academy. And we know, though they have been slow into the gameplay, they are still in there to go in for the fight. And this is a team versus team. So there's no stopping 13 Academy right there.
Yeah, CB1 now catching out the players of Arma, but does not stand by to see exactly what happens. Boyet manages to catch off Mamar and CB1. They thought they had the advantage in that situation, but thankfully, Bosch Cutie is on the way right back into the mix, and CB1 will have an extra player out there on the battlefield after losing Mamad. But they have to be careful here, as Armin and Rosina, they do have the slightly better advantage in terms of positioning. They might be able to catch out Doisu, and the moment they do catch Doisu, that's the start to the end of CB1. But I would love to challenge your thoughts as well as assessment on the MYSG scene, Neptune, because I really do not see any team with the capability of stepping up to the Filipinos. Not just yet, man. I mean, in multiplayer, yes, we do see the trifecta, we do see Almighty, we do see the players of Huntsman sometimes stepping up for the side of MYSG as well. But when it comes to Battle Royale, it's just an all-out dominating Philippines day in, day out. And I'm not sick of it, but I just want to see the Malaysian as well as Singaporean teams out there a little bit more aggressive on the battlefield.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one thing as well why we're so happy to have a Battle Royale tournament just like this at Survivors. But before we go there, we have a battle that's happening. It's NRX 69 is not really showing up right now, going against Team D, that is Veni of BBB Esports, and we have one of the NRX 69, that's Casey Bone right now being taken down, as well as Wise in there, and it's not looking good for the side of NRX 69. And then this has happened earlier on round number 2 and 3 as well, and I'm not quite sure what's happening with this team. We've got in I think it's a mix of the team players that we have on the NRX 69 side. We don't have the original 69 team that has brought us a lot of hype and excitement into the games, and they're just trying to carry the brand, but the aggressiveness as well as the gameplay is still not yet in there.
Yeah, in Battle Royale, I think NRX has truly lost their footing. They've lost their dominant stance. NRX 420 used to be leading the dominance out there. We did see NRX 69 drop by a little bit as well to kind of carry that flag when NRX 420 couldn't go the distance anymore. But overall, the NRX brand just hasn't been able to cut it out there on the battlefield ever since Vagabonds Esports took over as the new kings of Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale. And not only are they the new kings, they have just been the king of kings ever since, because nobody have been able to dethrone the Vagabonds Esports squad just yet. And yes, although we do see some impressive setup here by 13 Academy, VVV Esports through the form of Vici, Veni, Vidi, as well as 4 Kings, in comparison to what Vagabonds Esports can bring out there onto the battlefield, yes, we do say that the Philippines sets themselves apart from Singapore as well as Malaysia. And that's exactly what Vagabonds Esports does in comparison to all of these other teams. They truly set themselves apart in a class of their own, Nephew.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of identity for the teams right now that really shows up, especially on the scene that we barely see on as you mentioned, S tier level, triple S tier level. But going in here, a different level right now, a Mad Gunner going against CB1. And this is not the first time that we've seen these two teams. Mad Gunners usually go in for the chopper gameplay, and CB1 is being left out in there in the corner. And there goes the Budge Cutie right now, moving in on this area, and 3 members are trying to catch him through. With all of them shoots, and he might be taken down. And there you go, Hayden there for the finishing shot, and there goes Mad Gunner eliminating CB1 just like that. We're now left with 13 teams, AJ, and we'll have to see more of this gameplay. Moving forward, AJ, I think it's more of a team versus team, wherein a lot of engagement will be happening.
And the players of Mad Gunners Esports with their quick hit and run, but they have not been able to execute their dominance all that too well. Grex now getting caught out by Existence, and Arma will be able to survive that as Grex just dips in and out of that little pillar that he plays around, and Debu does not manage to take advantage. Yanara, on the other hand, takes a straightforward march straight towards Grex, and Yanara finding Debu, but both of them flanking around from the exact same spot, so it just makes it so much more easier for the player to defend from. If only they had gone in for that pincer maneuver there, they would have found an extra kill. BBB, on the other hand, continues their play as they try to shut down the players of Most Wanted, but find absolutely nothing. A lot of those shots being missed out there on the battlefield now, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more of this perspective right now changes the sensitivity of your gameplay, thus probably not giving out those accuracy that well. Now, VVV right now is in here, 3 kills on their hand, and we'll have to see how well will they be able to guard all those dog tags. But here comes 4 Kings, and Kyun has been taken out already, but Alaski will not be phased, will not be taken out that easily, utilizing that snowboard to get a full view of the situation, of the scenario, and armoring up. Now, it's a 1v3 right now, or 1v2, and one of their teammates is a little bit too far from the other side. So how well will Alaski be able to go on this? We'll have to see as Fright and the rest of the teams are moving for the regroup.
And as they try to regroup, Alaski will find a star! And Fright pulls away that kill. Beautiful play by the players of 4Kings as they pick off each and every single one of these players they come across. And 13 Academy now, they are just right towards that right-hand side. And the 4Kings are caught out here in the open. Duda takes the double kill. Fright as well as Alaski drop down onto the ground. Kyun, a quick play for that pickup on those dog tags. And it is now all on the shoulders of Kyun, who goes in for the quick scan. But can they remain surviving out there on the battlefield? Left to right, they try to turn, but once again, it is the movements that have been nerfed because they move in from TPP to FPP, and the players of 4Kings just doing quite well to play the game of survival. Ducking behind the curve of that hill keeps them still in this battle. But from the back, it's gonna be PV Esports main that poses a new challenge for the players of 4Kings, but it will be 13 Academy that helps out the 4Kings by distracting the players of PV Esports. And 4Kings, they continue running away.
And Angel Cutie for the side of 13 Academy right now. And fun fact for Angel Cutie, Angel Cutie is one of the team member who has or one of the the team member who has the highest number of points or kills from the qualifiers. So with Angel Cutie will be taken down, as what we've seen earlier, it might be very difficult to really catch up onto the kills department. Thus, Angel Cutie needs to be pulled in there and revived every time. But Glad will be taken down right now by Sato with that spray on the Mac 10. But here comes the push by the rest of the teams right now on the other side. Sekra right here will be going in for the backstab. Is there enough time for him to go in? No, the pickup has been done, and Sekre will be backing off as well.
Yeah, great plays coming through. VVV now, Blank, Sato, Sekre, all alive and kicking. But the players of 13 Academy not as lucky as Kyun. He survives, he scans the 2 players, he backs away and also finds that knock onto Glad from the side of 13 Academy. But Angel Cutie will get the job done by going in for a quick scan, and Glad will be right back with us within the next 45 seconds. And for 13 Academy, earlier on, they did manage that tremendous victory to grab that #1 spot on the overall leaderboard. Let's see if they can maintain their performance in here. Tom Peeps finds Fright, and it looks like 4Kings will not be able to climb right back up with the way the 13 Academy is moving within this lobby. Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. For the side of 4K, it's very difficult for them to get away from the gunfight. But there goes Kyun right now for the hit against the Lin, and 30 Academy will be taken down in their Lin's the only one surviving, as one will be coming back from the revive flight. And going to my point, 4Kings is having very difficulty to get away from gunfights because of the movement that they have on FPP. They cannot use the usual slide, jump, rotate to get away from being shot at, thus being very, very, very slow on the gameplay. And also, they are being taken down one at a time. But it's a good thing that their positioning is improving, as well as how they approach the fight, thus the 7 kills that they have on their team already.
NDD has no idea what's going on here. Existence right inside of that compound. Now they can continue pressuring them, whereas Arma now pulls off the flank. Greg's trying to find a little bit of positioning, and NDD, they eat the bullets of Existence as they stumble upon their compound unsuspectingly, and they will most definitely pay the price for not checking inside of that house. Existence, KKPG now down onto the ground as Boye takes advantage. Arma trying to grab whatever they can. If it's not NDD, Existence it will be. But can they now continue going in for the push, as all of the players are holding on to their own compounds whilst engaging in the gunfight, because nobody wants to be out in the open?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being Blackout, you don't want to be out in the open or in teams will be taking advantage of the snipers because of the vast array of the map. And there you go, snipers in there from Hades taking down Buoyant. And I was just saying that, and there you have it. You don't want to step out, especially with teams already hearing those gunshots as well as waiting for you to make that mistake. Now, they need to move around. They need to get away. Armament right now is in there. They need to stay in that house because syntax error is not making that error and thus giving you those much gunshots from afar, AJ.
Yeah, great stuff coming through. And now 36-64. The 36 players alive and kicking on the battlefield. One of them, Amethyst Esports. We talked about their downfall from the top flight within the lobby in itself, within the grouping in itself. And now Amethyst Esports trying to maintain their high ground presence and at the very same time climb right back up the leaderboard as well. But it's going to be the Four Kings instead that continue striking and has been dropped down by Tokyo and the Four Kings as they continue looking for players out there on the battlefield. They will not be capturing Amethyst Esports. In fact, nobody will catch Amethyst Esports, who backs away from all of those wild gunfights, and they head on straight into the home of Mad Gunners Esports. Can Amethyst Esports grab those kills, or will the already well-positioned Mad Gunners be able to catch them out in the open grounds now? Watch Timothy, great movement, and they head straight for cover, not leaving a lot of opening for Mad Esports to take advantage.
And going back at the side of Syntax Error right now, there's still four members in here for the side of Syntax Error. They've gone out and took out already their focus from one of the teams that they are gunning down earlier, and now all against VVV. Now, will VVV be able to take them down in here? Because we know how well they have one of their members have on the sniper, but they are having in here for side of Syntax Error is the airdrops. A good opportunity for them to be able to take down anyone surrounding them, but how well will they be able to use it? Still have yet to be seen, because so far they only have 2 kills from their side.
And drive from the side of Syntax Error now. A good play, staying alive, but needs to keep an eye on the zone as well. Has got the high ground, and as the next circle will be dragging all of them up north a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you can see from the minimap on the left-hand side, not a lot of those teams are present in the next circle, but they do have a minute 16 seconds to make their way into there. But it is just a travel through the open field that is just so dangerous. So the teams that do have the advantage will be the ones with the vehicle as well as the snowboard, but in the hands of Bry, the Mac-10 makes quick word of the player on the snowboard. Ciora taken out of the equation, and the players of Syntax Error this time round find a little bit more of a survivable play on the battlefield.
4K this time is going against Most Wanted. One story will be taken down, and now they have a Third Academy just below them. Now, 3 members on our side for side of Third Academy, and I think Angel Cutie has been taken out already in there. Does the slow approach for the side of this team. Now, 4K in there. The 4 Kings is still maintaining their position with a 4-man squad. Despite of how much they've lost already under the gunfight, they still coming back in here on the game. Now, on the side of BVV, they have this position already familiar. Sekre has already led them in here, knowing that Mad Gunners is already taking this play, but still not being taken down because no one wants to make that mistake of charging in freely without any tactical approach, AJ.
Yeah, let's see what they can pull off with the tactics now, as VVV can all go in for the hunt but gets caught in a trap. And now the Mad Gunners Esports squad, they take advantage. Blank dropped. Amazing play by Mad Gunners, and they will continue bagging all of those players in this small tight compound as they want to set up all of those traps. VVV fall right into them. Existence in the exact same place as well. In fact, so many of those teams, so many of those players in the exact same compound here. Everybody just pulling in a small corner for themselves. Nobody wants to get aggressive. Amethyst Esports, Timothy finds 2 players back to back on the side of Syntax Error, and Timothy goes to crazy ends to shut down those players. Amazing plays from Amethyst Esports will still continue. We still have a duo there, and Amethyst doesn't seem to be slowing down.
And here we go. We have NAD right now stuck in the corner, but we'll be backing off. But there goes Supremo and Nico Golf being taken down by Alatsky. Alatsky is still on the roll, but a Metaverse right now is back on their feet. They have 6 kills already and going into the maze. And this is a good position for them because all they have to do is listen for the gunshots as well as the footsteps for them to make their move. And it's such a good cover for them. But how long will they be able to hold out? And there goes Alatsky being taken down in the... Oh no, that was Timothy being taken down by Alaska and Friday in there as well, going in against Third Academy. And from what I'm seeing, it's 4K who are spread out in there, going kills after kills from different sides of this area.
Of course, man, 25 kills so far. Alatsky picking up more and more for himself, right? Putting in the work. Alatsky with the 15 kill spree. And only 6 more players left out there on the battlefield. 3 out of the 6 belong to 4 Kings. Can you take a guess who's gonna grab the victory this time round? Kaiser on the vehicle as he continues to drive around will meet up with Existence. And 2 of these players have to take on the players of 4 Kings. And we talked about consistency, we talked about the capability of 4 Kings bringing in yet another tremendous round for us, and that's exactly what they do. KKPG out in the open. Alatsky unable to take advantage just yet. One good grenade on one of these vehicles should be good enough to get the deed done.
And as we look into 4K right now, they are being rushed, and there goes KKPJ right now, making a mistake getting off. And we'll have to see if another one from Mr. Gazer will be taken down. Now here comes Sato being gunned down with smoke. Will be able to save him, but another member of 4K, that is a Pride going in for the rush, and Sato right now is being chased by Lasky. There is no stopping Alatsky right now, regardless whether it's CPP or FPP. There you go. The 4 Kings takes another win.
And Tokyo manages to catch that player who tried to get away from the final circle, refusing to give away the final kill point. But no way, Jose, says the 4 Kings, as they continue to chase them down, as they continue to hunt them down. Alatsky, what sort of food does this guy eat? Because he's blazing through the battlefield with so much of dominance. I mean, 15 kills in a lobby. This is a triple S tier lobby for the Garena Survivors. And this guy is just eating up those players like they just common feed out there on the field.
I take it back, AJ. I mean, earlier we were doubting the FPP gameplay for these teams, but Alatsky is in there, still continuing on.
Yeah.
Regardless whether it's DPP, FPP, no one will stop me. No one will bring me down. I will bring you fire, and that is what Alatsky has shown us right now.
And you know, it's just so amazing to see the performance of 4 Kings, because now with this victory, they just shoot up continuously to that number 1 spot. In fact, they solidify their positioning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the recap of that match that has just ended. And production, if we could just scroll up just a little bit. Okay, we want to start from the very bottom first. Interesting stuff in here. Team number 8, Armin Rodzina, managing to grab 8 kills here. And the surprising performance of Winnie. Although they do finish off in the 11th spot, they finish off with 9 kills. Once again, the FPP mode seems to be bringing in so many more kills spread out through the leaderboard.
Yeah, I see. I mean, it's more of, some of the teams really popping off, especially for side of 13 Academy. Their tactics has really worked, but this is what we want to see. 28 kills, AJ.
What? I mean, okay, Alatsky picked up 15, but overall, 28 kills from the side of 4 Kings is just absolutely insane, man. I mean, how? Just with kills. And this is not even including the 10 placement points that they will pick up yet again. From this game alone, 38 points goes to your Kings, the 4 Kings.
This is a statement that the 4 Kings has brought us. We mentioned earlier the stats were in, and they are not playing. Vagabonds Esports has gotten an average of kills per round. And this is a statement that 4 Kings has brought to me, because I pointed that out, that, okay, we don't care about the average. We just want to bring you one game wherein we will be able to take out and skew the data. You compute yourselves, confuse yourselves, Neptune. That's what you deserve for putting us down.
Yeah, this is a GG, man. Four Kings literally just now solidifying their number one placement, but they cannot get too confident. The 13 Academy is hot on their heels, and once again, VVV Esports in the form of Vici, Veni, as well as Vidi. Yes, I'm mixing it up because that's just according to their placement out there on the battlefield. All three teams have been doing amazing in the competition so far. After 4 rounds, the VVV clan does not seem to be slowing down. In fact, they seem to be getting a little bit more confident in securing the spots here.
Yeah, I mean it's as if this seems, and we mentioned about how slow because of the FPP movement that we've seen from this team. But I think it's more familiarity as well because there's also the first round jitters. But when switching to a first round of FPP, there will be jitters, and there will be more of finding out how to go and approach all those tactics that we have already in played or they have already in played. And I think with this second round, we're in. Everyone else knows already. They know the gameplay, but they are familiar right now how the other teams are responding to them. This is a chance for them to pop off, and that is what these teams are doing. FPP, TPP, regardless, we have already set that in play. We just need to test the water a little bit, and then later on, we will be popping off.
Yeah, but the one thing that, the players of Four Kings need to go in here and try to fix for themselves is focusing on their performance at Isolated a little bit more. Because we've seen 2 monstrous rounds come through from the Four Kings, but both of those monstrous rounds have been, set up at the Blackout map. Isolated, on the other hand, they seem to be the team that gets isolated all the time, and they do not pull off all too many rounds. But just with 2 solid rounds, they hold that number 1 spot with such dominance. That's crazy, man. I mean, we talk about consistency out there on the battlefield. These guys are just consistent on one map, but they can still find that number 1 spot. Will they get punished for that sort of a play where they only master Blackout instead of going out and being able to span their wings of dominance on Isolated as well? We are still waiting for the other teams to show us. The ones who have the best capability of doing so would be 13 Academy as well as the other VVV teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've shown up already in the top 5, and they have been shown in there on one of the sides of the screen as the game goes on. And those rankings, there's always on the top 5 of our leaderboards. Now, with this movement for the Four Kings right now, who are they going to push down, and will that change anything? And you mentioned AJ, how will they go and get back on Isolated, or what are they doing on Isolated? Why is it that they're mostly failing? Is because most of the teams are familiar. That's an OG map that we have. Isolated is the OG map as we have. Rotations are already well known, well versed for these teams, same as DPP. And I think it is the Blackout as well as the FPP mode that is being exploited by Four Kings right now, thus increasing their chance for a greater points.
Absolutely, man. All of those teams are wishing for the podium finish, just like you guys are wishing for those giveaways. So here you go, the rare wish crate for all of you to make your craziest of wishes come true. Get this redeemed instantaneously right now as we hop on for a break, because like what you guys would have been able to find out from Garena Masters, these redemption codes are quite limited and they get snapped up pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, make sure that you take those screenshots and put them in, but don't go away. I mean, don't go away, because there's a lot more engagement right now, a lot more surprises, and how much the teams are surprising us so much as we move in to round number 5 of this series. We are preparing right here, but I am Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with the Mustachio AJ, will bring you the action later after the break.
Welcome back to the Garena Survivors, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustache down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, bringing you all of the crazy action that we anticipated out there on the battlefield, but nobody could have anticipated the kind of dominance that the Four Kings are showing us out there. And this team started off on a lackluster approach, mainly because we were on isolated when we started things off. But moving into Blackout, they showed that they know exactly how to give that blackout punch and a few black eyes to these players, and they have been able to grab a shocking number of kills on both of the Blackout maps that they have managed to jump on into Neptune.
Yeah, definitely, especially for the name of Alatsky. Alatsky in there has already gotten in a lot of kills right now. And looking at the data that we have, out of the qualifiers, he has the highest number of kills, getting close to 100 for all three qualifiers. That's 97 in total before jumping in semifinals. And that is way above from the one next coming from, and we're just talking about the first half of the semifinals, coming from Angel Cutie, who got 67. So that's 30 points more from from all those qualifiers, and a lot more coming in from the semifinals, AJ.
Yeah, and collectively inside of Isolated, I believe they have only managed to pick up, less than, I think, 15 points. And most of their points coming through from Blackout, not just with the placements where they've managed to take 20 out of 20 available from the Blackout map, but also with the kills that they've just managed to, go out there and dominate with, right? But will this be a similar situation now as we continue on? Thankfully, we do have the overall rankings available for you guys here. And as you can see, Four Kings, they dominate up top with 79 points total, 58 kills, as well as 21 placement points. They are the monsters in the competition that the other teams did not anticipate going up all that too much with. 13 Academy in that second spot, Neptune, just making all of the predictions as we started off the day with come through. Four Kings, 13 Academy, as well as VVV Esports, all three of their teams in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, switching the names in here, Vici, Veni, and Vidi, regardless of how it is. I know it's we came, we saw, we conquer. I don't know which one comes first for this time, but they're still in there. All three Vs are still in there on the top 5, AJ.
Yeah, this time it is we conquer, we came, and then we saw. So it's the conquering part that comes through first, and I do not doubt it. VVV just surely showing that dominance out there on the battlefield, but it has not been enough to match up to the consistency that 13 Academy as well as the Four Kings has been able to show us so far. But impressive nonetheless, as all three teams out of VVV fighting the top 5 spots for themselves, and they sit down so close to each other. And how uncanny is that, Neptune? Because we've seen other brands throw in multiple teams as well, but you usually see like one supreme team out of the brand, maybe in the top 5, and then the other teams will be somewhere around the very bottom, but not VVV, man. Every single team seems to be a superstar team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this proves to show that the brand itself and also the training that they're into are all level. I mean, it's not just one-sided that this is the main team, this is another team that we can put in later on. But no, and that is probably one reason why they also put in each name of the Vs in there, just to make sure that it's all balanced between all three teams, as well as the tactics that they have. Thus, they are in there always on the top 5 and always close together. Hopefully, one will be able to overtake Four Kings and 13 Academy, but we'll have to find out later on, AJ.
Yeah, we'll have to find out if they can beat the Four Kings at Blackout, man, because they just once again know how to give a black eye to anyone they meet out there on Blackout. But of course, as we switch on back to Isolated, this is the opportunity once again for teams like VVV Esports to grab the spotlight. Veni managed to grab the victory initially as we went into Isolated. That was a TPP matchup, so hopefully as we go in here for the reset, we'll be able to see them achieve their winning ways once again. But quite a number number of hot drops coming through here very evidently as VVV Esports once again find themselves in a little bit of hot soup. This time with Syntax Error at Harbor. The main point of contention here will be that chopper, and it looks like Syntax Error are the ones who are closer to it. So maybe a quick hit and run, a quick GTA here as they take that chopper and get out of the way.
Yeah, we'll have to see how well the 4K as well, and we'll be able to go in here. I think this is Alatsky going in for the chopper gameplay and being left alone as we look at it on the minimap, and he will be succeeding in there, going against Mad Gunners for that chopper run, and will be regrouping for the rest of the team, going back to VVV as well as Team L right here, which is Team L, which is Syntax Error. So we'll have to see how well will they be able to hold up. The chopper is in play already, but they are not going away. So I think this is a fight against VVV and Syntax Error. And with one from above getting a position already, or also information for the rest of the team, this will be a good opportunity for them. But once they get close, those mechanical skills will come into play. And it is not looking good for the side of Syntax Error. And no offense to them, it is really not looking good for every time that they go in for a close battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And because the players of VVV, it looks like they are trying to keep an eye on Syntax Error, but it's the reverse in this scenario. As Syntax Error, they do have the better ground, at least one player does. So the bird's eye view over to the side of Syntax Error, the ability to spot out all of the players from the side of VVV. But as you can see, Ciora trying to change things, but Bry catches him off guard, and Syntax Error very quickly takes position as the dominant ones within the harbor. And Bry, as he takes Ciora out of the equation, Joel takes place on top of that crane as well, and he will get that bird's eye view for himself. And VVV, not only do they have to potentially take over the dominance at this sector, but they also have to retrieve that dog tag now in the safe hands from the safe hands of Syntax Error.
Yeah, Syntax Error right now. Well, I think this is Syntax Error proving me wrong once again. And this is what I love when a team are proving us wrong with the numbers that they are showing, as well as the tactics that they are in here. Going against VVV, we all keep mentioning how well-rounded this team is. They are being pushed back by Syntax Error, and this is a good play for them. 1 point already for this team, and still gathering or going in for the catch-up against White, going for another point, but I think they are already too far in there and will be backing off, or needs to back off. Otherwise, they might be taken by surprise in there by VVV. They already have one dog tag in there in play that might be pulled back. Otherwise, it will be left in there by VVV, thus them moving in for a 3-man gameplay.
And it looks like Syntax Error wants to gatekeep this one dog tag that they've managed to steal away from the side of VVV. And the players of Team VD not too happy about it, but they can't really do all that too much. Jill pulls a vehicle for himself, which might just give them the mobility to go in for the challenge once again. But NDD, they catch White out in the open, but a quick drive-by will not prove to be enough to catch White out. But Syntax Error, they continue the shutdown, and they catch NDD this time. And as they go in for the aggressive push, NDD Supremo backs the double kill, and NDD turns things around. Joshua finds Supremo, amazing with the Trap Master play, but NDD still can't turn things around in here. And Syntax Error, the players who got a little bit too greedy too fast, might still be able to pull this away. They do have Bry, they do have Joshua. It's a 1v2, and it's all now in the hands of Kira to take this back, but Kira gets dropped by Bry, and NDD get eliminated. Syntax Error still alive and kicking, but none of them watching the dog tag they managed to pull away from Team VD earlier on.
Yeah, no one watched them, and I think it's a good approach for them, for the side of Syntax Error as well. They need the kills, and I think they're assuming that was VVV in there that they caught, and that is one thing that they want to go in, thinking that they can eliminate the team, thus increasing their chance to really let go of that dog tags. But that is not the case. There's still a chance for VVV to go in there, but who took that? It is White. White just turned around in there and got that dog tag, and I think Joshua had a sight in there. It's probably it's because of the Trap Master as well. So Joshua has his eye on White, and VVP once again is in trouble.
Oh, that was such a GG clutch dog tag retrieval play from White because his team member almost ran out of time. So a very timely retrieval of that dog tag will still keep Team Vidi in the play. Alatsky, who got taken down a little prematurely, will now be right back in the play, has to loot up for himself and also get his chip, get his skill upgraded later on. The Smoke Bomber, the Slayer on the side of Four Kings. One huge reason as to why the Four Kings are dominating that #1 spot, Nephew.
Yeah, definitely. And I think switching in onto Isolated, we'll have to see if what you read is correct from earlier. Isolated really, or I mean, I know it's correct, but this is already evident for so many games. But will that still be the case right now, going in on Isolated and going in on the TPP also change it a little bit? So the dynamics of our format right now will, I would say, confuse some of the skills that the teams are using, but also give opportunity for the others who can adapt that quickly from this gameplay. So we are looking right now to 13 Academy, who has been consistent enough getting tactical for every approach that they're going into, but this time they are heading into the airdrop. So we'll have to see who will go against them, AJ.
Oh, big drop here coming through from ABC Chilop as he takes Kaiser out of the equation, and VD will continue struggling in the competition. As now, in this lobby, I have to say, as now they drop a very important player, but 13 Academy trying to step things up as well. They find the players of Most Wanted. They take one out of the equation, but the 3 other players from the side of Most Wanted quickly disengage from this battle. At 13 Academy, Angel QD, close quarters, but manages to hop on away, and no advantage taken by the VVV players. It is Team Vici in for the play this time round, but Sato quickly repositions and they disengage from that scenario. No fight is worth it just yet as VVV looks for the podium finish this time round. They leave the players of 13 Academy all to that airdrop.
Yeah, they have left them onto the airdrop, and that is a loss for the side of VVV. I mean, the usage of the airdrop as well as the arsenal that they can get in here can be to their advantage. But like what we mentioned, keep mentioning earlier, 13 Academy, the tactical approach, going in for the objective first and then later in for the kills. That is how they dominated the game so far. As we look at the minimap right now, it is another potential water finish because it is on to the northwest of this map of Isolated. So we'll see how well will this team work it out on this game and how well will they be able to survive provided that it landed on the water.
And as Arma now finds the players of Amethyst Esports, looks like Amethyst will continue struggling. And Arma, I don't know if they can make a quick work of the players of Amethyst. Technically, if you compare them toe-to-toe, the players of Arma should not be as aggressive as Amethyst Esports, as well as capable of taking them down. But we switch on over. The players of Syntax Error. A lot of errors out there on the battlefield earlier on, but this time they connect and they connect well. Alatsky down on the ground, but Fright manages to shut down Bry. In a turn of events, the players of Syntax Error now trying to run away as quickly as possible. Hades should have stayed down on the prone, but look at Fright. He is making all of the players from the side of Syntax Error scurry around, run away as quickly as possible, and Juice One now hunted down. Fright has got no chill. He meets the players of VVV, and he does not get to put the level of Fright in them the way he did with Syntax Error, as Ainra easily takes him out of the equation.
I mean, Fright is stepping up the moment that Alatsky has been taken down, but I think that is where they are failing when it comes to Isolated, because they are rushing in there on the approach, trying to chase down or chase off a lot of enemies, thus not being able to protect their back right there, because Alatsky is being taken down that quickly or that easily in this game, thus losing their chance onto the Isolated win. And they are surrounded by a lot of teams who have already proven themselves on Isolated and are now moving up the leaderboards as well as going against the Four Kings.
How are the Four Kings still alive, man? I mean, they were good caught in between all of those teams earlier on, but very quickly, this duo now, Kyun as well as Alatsky, surviving and backing away from the battle. But the players of Team F, VVV Esports, Vici, they do not want to let them go. Alatsky getting caught out in the open. Can he use his skill? What does he bring into this play? Quick reposition with the movements, and Ainra just unable to take advantage. Alatsky once again ducks away, but this time he is not as lucky. But Sekre Sekre falls right down. Alansky responds. Sekre takes Alansky. And now the kill leader of the lobby is out of the equation. And 4 kings have fallen.
The 4 kings has fallen in there from the hands of VVV, and VVV once again going in and might be able to take the win in this game. 5 kills already for this team. Stepping in from the outside of the safe zone might be difficult for them because a lot of teams has already prepared themselves to gatekeep. But we'll have to see how well will they be going against in here. This is ABC Rogue right now who might be waiting for them, as well as some of the teams who has already heard those gunshots and might be firing back.
Slow approaches coming through from the players. 34 seconds now. The zone just closing on in as the players try to find their positions within the next circle. BBV, they get caught out. And here comes the onslaught from their own brothers potentially. And it is gonna be the players of Alibaba clan that drop by to say hello. But Rogue now makes one mistake and immediately Blank takes advantage. And 2 more players on the side of Alibaba clan still alive and kicking from up top. Jube can take advantage now. Prime as well. But they need to choose to reposition rather than go in for the fight outside of the zone. But VVV, they're not slowing down. They go in straight for the attack. Ju gets caught out. Aimra runs out of bullets in the wrong time, but he will continue keeping up the pressure. Ju repositions, turns around at the wrong moment, and Sekre backs the kill as the pincer maneuver for the side of VVV manages to be pulled off. And VVV now, with 7 kills in hand, they continue on to the safe zone.
They continue on into safe zone as well as for the hunt. Now we have 13 Academy right now back in play. Glad will be in here coming back from the revive flight, and they need to move in, but they are distracted by those coming in from the outside, which is CB1. CB1 with vehicle gameplay taking advantage of what they have to be able to rush in, as well as a possibility for 13 Academy to be gate kept. But I think Bodge Cutie will be walking his way through into this game and might be taken down the moment that he makes a wrong turn. And Lint right now is not slowing down as well onto the approach in the safe zone, and still going in for the chase against Bodge Cutie. And this is not looking good for CB1. 13 Academy right now in there, just missing that chance. But I think Bodge Cutie was able to make it. But here comes Glad, missing out that. And there goes the turnaround. Linden there taking the lead. And there goes one member of CB1 who will just be saying bye-bye because that was a 13 Academy.
Yeah, this is too solid of an approach from the side of 13 Academy, keeping a close group, and they back each other up. But now, straight into the hands of Syntax Error once again. 13 Academy will have to take this battle up against a team that already has built their defense in this compound. But Lind does detect a couple of footsteps right in front of him and chooses to disengage instead. They want to take that circle around as the players of Syntax Error continue to lock down their defensive position. And now, the players of 13 Academy from across. Bertogo has got a great position, and Bry, he brings out the SMRS. Tom Peeps gets attacked, but Hades taken out of the equation, and 13 Academy a little bit more playing their influence with the advantage in here with all of that aggression. Glad pulls in the backstab, and just like that, 13 Academy bags out the players of SC as well.
And here comes the push against Joshua. Joshua right now trying to run away, but the pinch is on, and there he goes, right out the window, being taken down the Bry with a Mac 10. 3 kills in hand, putting in 8 for the team, and Angel Cutie will be picked up. But with those gunshots as well as the safe zone in here coming in, they need to make their move, and they need to go in and towards the docks, AJ.
Yeah, and 13 Academy, they continue pressuring all of the other players, all of the other teams. BBV Esports Veni, on the other hand, holding on to the highest ground that they can find. Most Wanted spotted out, Story as well as Gyro. But Paul does not take advantage just yet. Trigger Discipline will make sure his position is not revealed too early. They just want to get that information first and then perhaps strike a little bit later on. But so far, this squad only has got 2 kills in the mix, and that's not too great if you want to search for that number 1 spot. But VVV Esports, all 3 of their teams might not be looking for that number 1 placement. They might just be looking for the qualifier into the grand finals, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter whether you qualify in the first spot or the 8th spot from the group, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and a lot of teams has been showing in there. They might not be showing up right now so much for this name of a metaverse. Then it's because they might be able to get for the eighth spot and secure their place on the finals. But we're talking about not just 1 day, but 3 days, AJ. So a lot of opportunity for the teams right here to be able to catch up onto the points. But going back, a metaverse right here not performing for this number one. For this day number one, and they might be showing up or just probably just waiting and thinking about the tactics of the other teams compared to the consistency of 4K as well as a 13 Academy. They need to change it up. They need to move up with aggressiveness, a little bit more of aggressiveness for their team to be able to prove that a Metaverse is still a team that can go against the top.
Yeah, and the play is now 33, 63, 33 still alive and kicking as Angel Cutie will get sprayed down by Kaiser, but a good recovery here from Lind as he shuts Kaiser down. VVV unable to best 13 Academy just yet, and Angel Cutie still alive and kicking. Tom Peeps takes that player out and goes in for the save onto Angel Cutie, but Angel Cutie outside of the zone still gets sacrificed. Should have crawled towards the save zone a little bit quicker there to make sure 13 Academy has the numbers for that final zone, but all of that aggression will keep the players of 13 Academy now and down them to a duo instead of squad. No more revivals available, and they should struggle towards the final circle in here.
And what's right now in there, taking down Brands from CV1. And now we still have a VVV right now on the higher ground. We've seen this before. They have survived in here for a 4-man squad. And then later on with a number of teams who are being squished in onto this next safe zone will have to get a lot of kills. Mr. Flex is in there on the other side. We is being grenaded right now. But as a response to VVV, AMV or a Metaverse is going in for the hit from a distance. It those snipers as well.
And the M21 will still be a superstar for these long-range engagements, and that rate of fire in all of that chaos out there, you just need to spray and pray in certain situations. In that position, Timothy did not pray and he did not spray, but cool, calm, and collected. He picks up yet another kill for the side of Amethyst Esports, and the team that has really not shown up all that too much is now showing up in the form of Timothy. Once again, holding on to the highest ground that they can find accessible, and with the M21 just putting on the hurt to all of the other players. It's a double M21 setup coming through from the side of Amethyst, and Timothy once again bags yet another kill for the squad.
And there's already 7 kills for the side of a Metaverse right now. And if they maintain their position, they will be able to get more. The snipers has proven to be very effective from this team, regardless of how high as well as how low the enemies are. And there goes Jesuel being taken down. And if for that elimination, they will be getting 8. But there goes the pickup by Paul. Now we'll have to see how well will this be approached by the other teams who are being gunned down. And they need to take these teams down. A Metaverse needs to go down, otherwise they will dominate this final safe zone. As it closes in, they have an opportunity to go in for the flight, to get the middle, as well as spray against the enemy, the remaining 6 teams that they are against. And once everyone is in there, it will be another pandemonium battle.
Oh, Yanara, Timothy, can he bag yet another? The answer is yes. And Timothy, with that position alone, has managed to pull away 4 kills for the squad. But now, straight into the Lions Den. It is VVV Esports right in front. Timothy taking all of these wild shots. Can he bag another? Yes, he does. And VVV hasn't struck just yet as they continue to hold on to the container area right down below. Sekre jumps out at the very final moment. Timothy down onto the ground, and VVV finally goes on to strike. It is gonna be Sato, Sekre, as well as Blank. As Sato holds on to the outer area, he takes Timothy out of the equation, but the players of Amethyst Esports now coming in for a little bit of revenge. Rolled as well as Watt, the pincer maneuver. They drop down like the angel of death and shut down the players of VVV, and Amethyst Esports very quickly take over the situation. Alps bags out 2 for himself, and Amethyst, they continue surviving. Sekre up top, backstab, but what gets taken down instead.
Sega right now is in there for the play, who will be going in up top once again. We have another team of VVV for the name of Jewel and Alves right now is in 1v1 right here on this side. This is a three-man, three teams battling, and the safe zone is closing in. And Alves was able to see Sega right here. The move is on, but there goes the snowboard, giving him a chance to get away. And Jewel will be sided, taking on Alves right now. And with only 24 HP remaining, will be going in for the kill. It's now 1v1 against VVV. Who will survive and who will win? That is the question, AJ.
VVV will win, and that is the greatest prediction in the world. As Secret bags show both of the VVV squads surviving podium finish. Indeed, they had to slay each other, but at the end of the day, the one confirmed thing here is the VVV brand continues their dominance within Group A.
Sekre in there proving a smart move in there, going in for the backstab as well as the getaway. When we thought that Sekre will be pinned in there because the safe zone is coming in, plus the position that he has been waiting on. He pulled out the snowboard, moved in on the other side. Jewel provided a backup in there, not really focusing on Sekre because of his movement. And the other member is the other enemy is one of an easy target. Thus, Jewel and Sekre goes in for a 1v1. But there you go. VVV win. And which VV it is? It is a VVV. I don't know what team of
there you go.
Sekre it is. But regardless, it's VVV Esports. Guys, you better tell us in the comment section which one it is as we look it up, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And at the end of the day here, as all of the players move on through, the players of 13 Academy continue proving themselves out there on the battlefield. But what I love to see out of, or what I loved seeing in this round number 5 was the ability of Amethyst Esports to make a strong comeback. But let's take a quick look here at the highlight of these rounds. And a very impressive feat out of team number 2, 13 Academy, bagging a total of 10 kills. But in terms of positioning, they get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of how they approach each enemy that they go into. They were able to get a lot of kills. And I think if we look at it in there, it's Team 6, Team 1, and Team 2. So it is 13 Academy in there on 9th spot. They might not have gotten a lot of placement point, but with the 10 kills, just move them up probably halfway through from all this list from 1 to 9. But going in there, if I'm not mistaken, that is the win that has been taken by Vichy right there on that fight. And not just that win, but also with those kills. 13 in there already, going against a Metaverse who was able to catch up on the points, and 13 points as well for the kills for them. So I think this is AMV getting back in play, and hopefully this will continue on, because we have been waiting for them to pop off from the start of the series.
And Amethyst Esports, the last time we did catch up with their performance, they were sitting down somewhere around the 7th spot, if I'm not mistaken, and getting about, I think about just slightly less than 20 points this time round will push them up. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to replace the VVV teams just yet, because from what we checked earlier on, they were dominating that 2nd spot or the 3rd spot all the way down to 5th. And they have still continued to maintain their dominance as well as consistency out there on the battlefield. And it is going to take a lot more out of Amethyst Esports if they not only want to catch up, but maintain their lead up there on the leaderboard. So far, from what we have seen in Group A, there's just no one-sided domination coming through, but VVV Esports truly have been outstanding as a clan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and they are signing as a clan because they always end up in there against each other, whether it's on a top 1 or a top 5 right there. And then that proves to show, like what we keep pointing out, this is a well-balanced team. And I think if they, let's take out chemistry. If they interchange the members of this team to get a better team, they can do so, because all of this, Veni, Vidi, and Vici are doing well in this game. Now, speaking of doing well, or the other side, not doing well, is 4K. Because 4K, as you pointed out, AJ, isolated is not their map. And they have been taken down quickly and easily for each game. Thus, I think the need for them to really catch up on the Blackout map. So we are expecting to see more of them for the next map, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And Venny this time around not doing as good as their brothers did earlier on, and that might just be the potential team that is replaced by Amethyst Esports later on in the overall results. Because if you look at the performance of VD as well as Vici, they, on the other hand, managed to chug out quite a bit. And those were the two teams that were available all the way down to that final battle. It was just VVV going up against VVV. Tremendous effort by both teams in here. But obviously, Vici managing to pull away that victory in that very final moment, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the moment wherein a metaverse has already popped up. A lot of kills that they have taken in here is because of the position. They have their
Yeah.
backs on the safe zone. No one will be able to backstab them. And no surprise hits from any vehicles from what we've seen earlier on the Blackout map. And they can focus more on the kills. With the sniper being held by Timothy, getting 3 kills already in here, plus the remaining kills for the rest of the teams. This is where they are catching up. But it is not always the case, AJ, that they will be given this good position as well as a good vantage point. At some point, there will be in the pinch, they will be in lower ground wherein they might be surprised. So they need to work on their aggressiveness. Well, when I say aggressiveness, not just about the kills, but also aggressiveness on the approach, because they are losing that compared to those who are already on top.
And of course, speaking of on top, that's exactly where Timothy was, bagging 4 back-to-back kills. But this was the one final mistake that he made, flying straight in. Obviously, he didn't know that the players of VVV were there. They were cool, calm, and collected, stayed hidden away from all of that engagement. And at the very final moment, as Timothy thought he had the upper hand, Sato jumps out, takes him down. But they did unleash the wrath of the rest of the Amethyst squad, because Watts immediately jumped in for a little bit of revenge alongside Rald, and both of them with the pincer maneuver shut down VVV players one after the other. Yes, there was a little bit of a response there by Blank, but Elbs drops by instantaneously and he trades Blank out, and the duo on the side of Amethyst towards the end could not do much as Sekre finds Watts. He deletes him from the equation, and Elbs, as the final survivor there, tried to take the fight, but Jewel was playing a little bit of distraction from the back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, distraction gameplay will be in there for the side of Jewel, and I think it's more positioning for the side of Jewel as well. He has the middle of the safe zone, and there's no backstabbing him right there. Al's right there, and Sekre are busy fighting it off. But the moment the Sekre moved out in there, that's where Jewel popped up in there, and with his head, and seeing one being hit with a trap also was an advantage of Sekre. So he have the safe zone on him, the smoke on him as well as the trap, thus the kill in there with that Mac 10, giving them the winner spot. That is round 5 out of 6 on the isolated on TPP mode, and we have the winner, VVV Vici.
Vici has won one, Venny has won one, and the next one potentially for the final round might just be in the hands of VD, man. I mean, these guys have been performing and they are on fire, no doubt whatsoever. And VVV Esports, they continue to prove themselves out there on the battlefield. We are obviously patiently waiting for the overall leaderboard results later on that we will be sharing with you after round number 6. So for the time being, it's just going to be a little bit of a suspense to see who has managed to climb up, who has managed to overtake VVV Esports, if any.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's more of what the more concern here is the performance of 4 Kings already from the previous match versus on this map, and how that affected them, as well as 13 Academy in there, who has consistently moved up on the leaderboards with their not too aggressive and also a tactical approach from them, bagging a lot of kills. But this time they didn't get a lot of placement, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But you know what do they get? They get to, just like us, redeem the rare wish crate. Go on ahead, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grab that screenshot, but make sure you redeem this as quickly as possible during the break, and do not go anywhere, because we've got limited items in terms of redemption for the rare wish crate. And if you're a little bit too late to the party, you do not get to claim it for yourself. We are going to be taking a quick short break, but when we come back later on, it is going to be the final round of the competition. And everything that we predicted from the start of the day in terms of which teams are going to go out there and dominate has been spot on. But I do want to see some of these other teams rise up to the occasion as well. We have seen NDD, but not a lot of consistency from them, but still a lot of potential, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's also in there. Speaking of, I was talking about a number of kills of each player. One of their members popped off on the highest kills as well. But we are going to talk about that later on. As AJ mentioned, we are going to jump up on the round number 6 later on. But right now, we're going for a quick break. We will be right back, so don't go away. And welcome back to the Garena Survivors, brought to you by Call of Duty Mobile. 5 rounds down, 1 to go, and in a bit we're going to see who will be dominating this day number 1 of the semifinals. We are your casters and your hosts. I am Neptune the General Garcia. Together with me is the amazing AJ Mustachio, and we are here to bring you the action to your screens right now, because we are going to see the final battle that will dictate who will take the lead onto the leaderboard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And so far, the 4 Kings have been truly dominant. But once again, they have allowed themselves to falter on Isolated. But one final round at Blackout will give them the opportunity to exert their dominance once again. So I have got no doubt whatsoever that they will be able to, execute the exact same way that they did in the earlier 2 Blackout rounds that we have witnessed already. But the VVV clan will soon stand to be separated, man, because Amethyst Esports are finally making their comeback, if you could say that, because they this time around managed to put quite a decent number of points on the leaderboard, and they are hot on the tails of VVV esports. We did see a little bit of survivability from Existence Valhalla as well, and hope to see them a little bit more on the battlefield in terms of the engagement, because they've just been shying away from that a little too much, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen them for only a few instances and not really that much that will give us a great impact as to their performance. And compared to what we've seen so far, 13 Academy, VVV, or all three of the VVVs, and 4 Kings who have been failing much on isolated. This is a chance for the 4 Kings really to get back in play, because apart from moving back into Blackout, wherein they are exceedingly great into the gameplay, from switching from a third person to first person viewer in Alatsky got a lot of kills, and well, actually the whole team got a lot of kills, and points will bring them higher in there with the lead that they had earlier.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And if they manage to pop off once again, then we can call the 4 Kings the Kings of Blackout as well. For Group A at the very least, we have got no idea just yet what Group B has in store for us. And you guys will not be able to witness any action from Group B in here just yet, because like we said, today is all about Group A. These 16 teams will head into 6 rounds, and this is the most grueling, format of battle that they have been going through in the near past or in the far past as well. Because usually maximum you've got 4 rounds within a day of play, but 6 back-to-back rounds, and on top of that, you are sitting inside both isolated as well as Blackout. And to make things even crazier, we've got both FPP and TPP in for the mix. I mean, a lot of changes for the Call of Duty Mobile Esports Battle Royale, and I'm absolutely loving it, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And also, and this is where the Garena Survivors title will come into play, because with all the dynamics that we have seen so far, and that will be shown later on, who will survive will be really the best survivor of this series. But there you have it, guys. All insights has been shown, and we are being thrown right now into round number 6, the final stretch of today, as we jump into the Blackout map. Once again, this is a first-person perspective, guys. Moving in from estates to the ghost town is our flight path, AJ.
And surprisingly, Alibaba Clan Mystic, representing Singapore, hasn't been able to perform all that too much at all, man. Overall, 9 kills, 1 placement points from 5 matches is a little disappointing. But if there's anything that the Mystic Clan can do, it is to not give up and to continuously push on. It is going to be a difficult fight, though, because once again, man, the Filipino dominance in Battle Royale is just a little untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how much crazy the Filipinos had bring it, not just for the survivors, but also all the gameplay that we've seen from other Battle Royale tournaments. But there you have it. We have 13 Academy right now. Glad, if I'm mistaken, that was a takedown on the 2 ABC. And here comes the push right here against the 3. Who will survive? Tom Peeps eliminating, decimating everyone in their rogue setup, as well as Prime has been taken down. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the first team to be eliminated on this round, AJ.
I absolutely love the fact that we can now choose on whether or not we want to deploy the wingsuit. And in that position, you saw that he did not pull it out at all. Yes, he takes a little bit of fall damage, but he got to the bottom of that building a little quicker than it would have taken him if that wingsuit had popped out automatically. And that is the biggest difference maker in such engagements, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Really knowing exactly how to get yourself very quickly across the map, or very quickly between buildings from that high ground to that lower ground. But of course, as we continue in the battle, as we spot out the players of Arma, they have caught wind here of the positioning of the CB1 players. But Mamat has not given away his position just yet. So this one guy can be the difference maker for this engagement that CB1 is going to be forced into in a bit.
Yeah, we'll see how well will they be able to hold out onto this battle. It is a buoyant right now. Seeing one going in for the hit, but will not be able to go for the takedown. And yeah, we've seen how well the snipers are being used right now, but the utilization is still different compared to what you pointed out, AJ, the one shot, one kill of the Arctic 50 that we so love. So we'll have to see how Armament will be able to go against them, because the triggered has been pulled already and Mamad has been spotted, and they might be pinched right now, or probably just repositioning themselves. And this is hanger against hanger battle. If no one goes in here, this will be a good time for them to go for the fight.
And once again, VVV Esports has managed to grab 2 out of the 5 victories so far, but not from the exact same team. Vici as well as Veni have struck. And now is the moment for Veni to strike as well. Because I tell you, bro, if Veni actually manages to win this, my mind is officially blown.
I mean, starting off the match, they are all put in together, and this is not spread out. When we look at the placement, and guys, this is not just the positioning that they have on the roster is not just on guessing. It was systematically assigned to them, and systematically they were lucky enough to go 1, 2, 3 right next to the other. And as we go further into the leaderboards, every time it's being shown, it's 1, 2, 3 right after the other. And if they will be able to get that one remaining team of VVV Esports to get that win, then that will be 1, 2, 3 after another. I don't know what else they cannot do with this team.
And CB1, Brian's, Bush Beauty, Mamad, as well as Dorisu, they find the players of VVV. Veni, this time round, hacks up all 4 players instantaneously, disabling all of their classes. And now, this can be the ambush that CB1 pulls off. But no, a quick drop by, hack them, and then they get right out of the equation. Reposition themselves at least. And now engagement from CB1 is most definitely confirmed. They just wanted to reposition to make sure the vehicles do not get stolen away as well as taken out of the equation here, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. And well, it's still not a smart move, because the sound vehicle will give out where their position. So the hack will not be that efficient really from what we've seen, but we'll have to see how well will they be able to respond right now. Mamart is a pump class who will be able to get away from gunshot coming from Duda, but Duda and the rest of the clan or the rest of the team are moving up and down just on the first and second floor. No one steps in onto the ground floor, because that is where they will be taken out. And there goes AM being taken down right now with SMRS, and Mamart right here with that pump and SMRS combo will try to go again. Another one from Mamart, and this is the meta that we love to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And look at CB1 with such a stellar drop on all of these VVV players. It is the very first attack by the hacker who disables all of their classes, disables the minimap as well. And Mamad walks in and takes himself out this time round with the SMRS. Is this the end? Duda shuts down the players, and CB1 get eliminated by such a unfortunate situation. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. CB1 main, they're not out of the equation just yet. One final surviving player on the side of CB1 might still be able to pick up all of these dog tags, but VVV, they're not done with this battle just yet. Yes, one dog tag has been scanned out already, but Existence Valhalla are in here to finish the job that CB1 could not. Duda manages to survive that, shuts down KKPG, and he tries to jump on away, but gets knocked down by Zavi instead. And VVV, they have truly met their match, but it took 2 teams to shut them down.
Yeah, it took 2 teams, shut them down, and a very unfortunate event really for the side of CB1. When we thought that suicide for one member might be good, but taking himself out, I mean, this is a small house, this is a small room right now. Letting that SMRs go will really put in the damage as well as the gunfire that they've had already taken in. And as we look at the sides, and there we have it, guys, on the leaderboard from round number 5, we still have the 4 Kings on top, Vici in there on a second, and then as we move along, 13 Academy in there on third, and then the rest of the teams in there following through, AJ.
Yeah, Amethyst Esports very slowly climbing back up with their 18 points picked up earlier on, managing to secure the 7th spot, but not more than that. As once again, like mentioned earlier, BBB Esports continued picking up points as well, man, managing the podium finish for themselves, 2 out of the 3 teams. And they continue to run the space in the top 5. But 11 Academy just truly outstanding with all of their approaches. One of the most consistent teams that we have within Group A, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're consistent to the point wherein they can maintain their position regardless of the kills that they can get, and vice versa. If they need to get a lot of kills because they might not be able to survive, they would do so, and that's what we've seen so far from the previous match. And we'll have to see another team that we are looking forward to see right now onto the battlefield is the 4K, and right now missing that shot with the pump being used right there.
Glad went right up into the air and dropped right back in front of Fright just to get taken down. That is a GG if I have ever seen one. And 4 Kings, they continue their onslaught. Tokyo has managed to pull away Alatsky's dog tag, and the guy's gonna be right back in here for the next circle for the play. And the players of PV, they back away very quickly from that engagement. BB Esports, they maintain their stand in here, but they will have to face off against 13 Academy as well as 4 Kings, all at the very same time. If they've got a vehicle, now's a great time to drive away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you need to get away right here, especially when you have these 2 teams surrounding you. And the chopper is in there already exploded, if I'm not mistaken, will not be used. But here we go. We have 4 Kings right now. Going against 13 Academy. The trap has been triggered and June needs to pull out. But here comes the rush right here. And there goes Tokyo with a hit, AJ.
Amazing stuff, man. Tokyo managing to give that a little bit of backup, and Lint now taking a swim, but he will find Fright right behind him. This guy fears absolutely no one, but throws in the fright of their lives in their minds every single time he appears in front of them or behind, like what you just saw. 40 players still alive and kicking in as Asta takes Rold out of the equation. Amateurist Esports loses yet another player, and this is gonna be a strong fight. Armin and Rodzina in the mix as well, together with Existence, Valhalla, and Arma unable to get away. Their players a little bit too spread out. Krex now being hunted down by Zawi as well as Yanara. Both of these players on for the approach, and in his hands, Odin. Zawi will be the one who is tasked to hunt down that final player. But look at this, the players of Mad Gunners Esports are dropping by to check out the situation as well.
The Mad Gunners right now going in for the drive-by. Will they just be passing through? And I think that is the case for side of Sexy and Freya. And the rest of the teams right now are in the vehicle, and they are just getting the position. And this is what the Mad Gunners are often doing. Getting the vehicles and getting the position, information from the rest of the teams, plus the position that they need, especially on the high ground. And here we go, 4K against Mad Gunners. And SMR's gameplay with this will work against Fright will be damaged right now. And a takedown in there. But we'll have to see Lakima in here going in for the spray, as well as going in for that hit. And Fright has been taken out with Odin, and the scan is on, but we'll have to move out of the way.
Lacrima, game of positioning, and with the pumped class, flies up into the air, pulls out the wingsuit, repositions, and Lacrima finally gets shut down by KKPG as Existence hunts him down, and it's all up now to Hate. He needs to pick up 3 dog tags. He needs to scan each and every single one of them before it is too late out there on the battlefield. And the players of Existence, on the other hand, are tasked with the exact same thing. Yanara as well as Debwu down on the ground, but they have to face off against NDD if they want to stand a chance. Outside of the zone now, KKPG slowly losing his life. No armor on him at all. And Zavi, as he approaches this situation, has to face off against 3 players from the side of NDD. And he tries to light up their car instead. Very interesting setup coming through from Zavi. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake. Those dog tags right in front. And Zavi makes it there, pulls that dog tag, and quickly gets away from the situation.
2 dog tags in hand, is going in for the scan, and Savvy right now going suave in that push. But approach will be a little bit difficult because a lot will be waiting from them for the names of NDD. And this is what we asked for earlier, Existence and NDD to really show off, and will be switching in onto that vehicle. Now NDD, Supremo, with the rest of the teams going against a 4K who will succeed and eliminating 4 Kings on one of the best mode that they have that they can go into, and if they will be able to do so, eliminating one of the top teams in this game.
And Four Kings will continue to annihilate on this Blackout map. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as far as the Four Kings are concerned, they do not perform on Isolated at all, but they do not need to, as they are the dominant kings of Blackout. And in 2 of those Blackout maps so far, they have they have made a record run in terms of kills, and they're looking for the exact same in this round as well, albeit it does not look as impressive. But that number 1 spot along with 10 placement points will do them a lot of good. It is gonna be Fright once again who strikes down Supremo. This time NDD eats up all of those bullets. Alaski going in for Kira as well. Kira playing the game of survival, but all of this action out here as we focus in on Four Kings as well as NDD. Let us not forget 11 kills still surviving out there on the battlefield. 31 players. This match is nowhere close to being over. Alaski just too good with the hunt.
We know, we've seen already Alaski going in for the hunt, and this is the quickest hunt that we've seen on an FPP that he has done. I mean, most of the kills that he's done from the previous matches in there has been from a close battle engagement, not really going in for a chase because of the limitation that we've seen so far in the FPP. But Four Kings are not showing that right now into this gameplay, and I think they might have an opportunity to exceed what they've done from the previous FPP Blackout that they played. So that is what we're looking forward to, and that will be a bad luck for everyone going against MAJ.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A couple of viewers are asking, where are the Vagabonds players? Are they eliminated already? The answer is no. We still have got Group B who is waiting to jump into battle, but that's not going to be today. Today, the focus is on Group A and all 16 of the teams within Group A. Group B will be in performance tomorrow, and that's exactly where you get to see your reigning, defending King of Kings Vagabonds Esports perform. But for the time being, it is your Four Kings who continue to dominate the whole of Blackout. 13 kills so far, and they're nowhere close to being done, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far, 4-man strong. The Four Kings is really showing us that they are the Four Kings, clear enough as a 4K AJ as they rush in here onto their next hunt. It is a Metaverse right now who might be feeling the wrath of 4K. Alaski right here for the rush, and he knows per se where the rotation will be. Round will be shut down. And there you go. Chop. Round is down.
My oh my, the skill of Alatsky pops the smoke bomb and forces the player on the side of Amethyst to reposition and very quickly just continues the hunt in here. Like you said, he knows all of the rotations. He knows exactly what are the positions that the players hold out here on Blackout, and nobody can hold a candle to Four Kings. No one can hold a candle to Alatsky. They truly are the kings of Blackout, and I would love to see how they fare against the King of Kings Vagabonds Esports later on when the Group A as well as Group B is finished off with all of their group stage plays, and we see the grand finals. White, the final surviving player on the side of VVVVD. They are in a great position overall in the competition, but they cannot get too lackadaisical with their approach. White loses his life as Lacrima strikes on the side of Mad.
And mad enough, we have VVV, another team. This is a VG right now going against NRX69. NRX69 were in a lot of expectation has been set for them, but not so much in performance for this team. Yes, they're in the middle of the pack right now, but they haven't shown that much compared to what we have pointed out, or the teams that we pointed out earlier. So we are looking for or waiting for the comeback that they can go into. But with the movement that they have right now, as well as the position of BBV, they are not in a good position. Now, going back to 4K, they have a good opportunity right now to go and rush in. Then no tactics involved, just pure aggressiveness as well as a pure dominance in this Blackout game, AJ.
And it would not be possible if they did not already have so much of experience dominating Blackout, because clearly they know each and every single compound. They know how to work the area. They know how to work everyone as Kyun strikes yet again. And yeah, you are right, man. These guys are just absolutely unstoppable. On fire indeed. Moving on in for yet another record-breaking run in terms of those kills, perhaps. 16 kills so far. And the players of Four Kings are not done just yet here.
Yeah, still have 9 teams remaining, 22 soldiers. Here comes Sato with that push and Ninja Class with that hit in there. Really, really exciting to see how well that has been brought back. I think that is one of the closest that we've seen, or I think that's the only time that we've seen that approach and the closest on an FPP right now. But we'll have to see how the 4K is going in against VVP as well as Armament, AJ.
Bright, just no fear whatsoever, quickly moves on in. He knows two teams are going up against each other, but look at this monster run straight towards them. Is he gonna make a mistake? One player behind him, Fright makes that mistake, and he gets taken out by Sekre, and that's what happens when you get a little bit too greedy. Tokyo as well as Kyun, all of a sudden they are now just in here with a trio, and VVV alongside Dre and Sekre. They can still make a play in here. One grenade comes looking for them. Sekre still alive and kicking, but it will not be an aggressive push from the side of VVV. They know what awaits them, but they want trouble to come knocking on their doors. But Tokyo as well as Kyun have got no idea to pull off that aggressive maneuver just yet. They are waiting instead for VVV to step out of their little trailer here before they can bring on the onslaught. But two players on the side of Syntax Error might just be able to interfere in this battle between these two squads and perhaps walk away the victors.
Yeah, and so far for the tide of VVV right now, we've seen that earlier on the isolated map as they hide into the container, and they're doing it once again. I think they are aiming for the same approach that they did earlier, but they are a little bit in there too far from the middle of the safe zone, and they might be forced out of this trailer and will be on the sides of 4K. But we'll have to see how well will they be able to go out in there. The smokes are being released for the pull out of 4 Kings, but here comes the rest of the team, and Debu right now I think might be the next target in here. Otherwise 4 Kings might just need to get away. There goes the pinch on the Debu, and it is now left to 2 members of 4K right now. They're still on the roll, but they are still on fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. 4 Kings strike yet again. Hate taken out of the equation. Joshua trying to find one of the 4 Kings, but will not be able to do that just yet. Out in the open, even then, Joshua does not strike quick enough. But VVV Esports, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Team Vici. They lie in wait, waiting for the players of either Syntax Error or 4 Kings to make a mistake. 7 players alive and kicking out there on the battlefield. We have spotted 6 of them. Where is that 7th player?
And there you have it. We have two from 4 Kings, 2 from Syntax Error, and 3 from VVV. And there you go. Not 3 anymore. Sato will be taken out. Sekre will be taken out. And that is what they were waiting for. Tokyo will hit against Tokwa. And Tokyo will try to rush in, but it will be stopped there by those traps. And Tokyo will need to move in. But no, we don't know who goes in for the win in a bit. There you have it. We have a team number 12. It is Syntax Error, AJ.
It was most definitely a syntax error in our brains to figure out exactly who got that victory at the very end. All out chaos as they were trying to play as carefully as possible, but all thanks to Joshua earlier on as he maintained all of that pressure on those players with the M21 from afar. But very careful approaches from 4 Kings as well as VVV Esports. Vici, neither one wanted to let go of their compound, and it was quite the heated battle towards the very end. But the most important thing here is the players of 4 Kings managed to prove the theory right once again in terms of their dominance at Blackout. Once again, so supreme with the kill.
Definitely. I mean, the Kings of Blackout is in here, and hopefully they will be able to do more on the Blackout map, because we've seen how bad. They can go on isolated. But let's see right now. We have here the breakdown of the team. And as we look into on the top, we have a team 12 is the syntax error, followed
Yeah.
by the four kings and then VVV right there, and a lot of kills already for the side of 4K. Not that much on
Yeah.
VVV side as well as syntax error. So I think that will dictate the leaderboard on this
Mhm.
round number 5, AJ.
Absolutely, man. And the Four Kings, just like that, they take over that number one spot, even though they do not clear off as the victors in this
Mhm.
particular lobby. And it's not going to hurt them too much at all, losing out on a single point in terms of difference for that position. Why? Because they are the Four Kings. Why? Because they are the dominant killers of Blackout. Once again, giving that black eye to any team they meet out there on the battlefield. And this time, it was the deadly King Kyun who picks up 9 kills. Super impressive approach to the matchup to maintain the dominance that this team has over everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen how Fright popped off from the previous match, and then this
Yeah.
time it is Kyun. So this is just the Four Kings showing us that it's not just Alatsky who can do more much in this game. Everyone
Yes.
in this match from the side or for this team of the Four Kings can do a lot more and can really pop off. But how much can they go about in surviving Blackout? Just Blackout at this point, because isolated they need to make it work at some point. Different map, but pretty much the same. I mean, it's same dynamics. So they
Yeah.
just need to be more familiar in the rotation of the teams
Mhm.
in here, as well as their approach on isolated, and they will be in there going and completely dominating every team out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, Amethyst Esports, they have joined all 6 rounds, but there was a huge missing piece in their composition as Narosa found none of those rounds to play in. That might be the factor that kind of holds true as to why Amethyst Esports hasn't really been able to perform in the day number 1 of this group stages. But they cannot make any excuses whatsoever if the rest of the team members cannot step up and they are going to put that on Narosa, then I guess it is what it is. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we do know that Narosa is their champion. Just like what Alatsky can do, Narosa is your slayer out there on the battlefield for the side of Amethyst Esports. And that's what we did not have this time around. That slaying power from the Amethyst players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen so far from the previous tournament how Nerosa can go about and put a team up in here with the leadership as well as the aggressiveness that he can put into the play. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see in the upcoming days if that will be the same case as what we've seen right now. But hopefully, as they move in slowly, a Metaverse will be able to take the top and bring themselves onto the finals. But so far,
Yeah.
for those who will be able to secure that in here, one thing's for sure: we have the Four Kings already, we have the 13 Academy right there, as well as the 3 VVV esports team who have been consistent all throughout all 6 rounds of today's day number 1, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And Four Kings, the consistency from Blackout, but the consistency in Blackout alone has been enough to cover their lack of aggression inside of Isolated. And that is so shocking for me to say because, how do you make up for 3 lackluster performance by just overperforming in 3 other matches so consistently? I mean, clearly they have to do something about their approach within Isolated, man. Because if they can bring even half the aggression that they show within Blackout into Isolated, Four Kings are going to be your future kings that dominate Call of Duty Mobile Battle Royale.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very difficult to read really how the Four Kings will be able to approach all the days that they will be going into in the semifinals with just Blackout alone or with complete dominance. But if you were right, if isolated can be worked on by the team, and then they can step into the game with the kings of battle royales so far, the current kings
Yeah.
of battle royale that we've seen, that is Vagabonds esports. But well, I don't know. probably this is just one of them holding out of the tactics of isolated, or also probably it's because a lot of teams are really familiar already and isolated, and their tactics, their approach when it comes to blackout is more solidified because of the lack of capacity for the other teams. We'll have to find out because there's several days that this can go on, and this is not just a day. This is just a day number one of multiple days that we're going to see all these teams battle it out.
Yeah, and it was truly shocking to see how Four Kings just managed to maintain the supreme offensive approach that they had in this matchup. And if only Tokyo had a little bit more time out there with the safe zone, if it wasn't for those traps that were already pre-laid out there, I'm pretty sure the players of Four Kings would have been able to bag another victory. But because he was slowed down, because he was forced to take out all of those traps that had already been laid out by one of those trap masters earlier on, that just slowed them down tremendously, and Syntax era Gurkhas were able to defend their pod and grab their victory, no pun intended. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, finally, there's no error on this calculator.
No error indeed, and they are in here on the winner circle. Syntax error Gurkhas right now popping off on that final round number 6 of 6 rounds of battle, switching it up from isolated, a blackout, TPP, FPP. We have now a clear view of the story behind the teams, the story that the teams will be able to bring all throughout the finals as we move in further into the Garena Survivors. And once again, guys, we like to encourage everyone to put out all the support right now for this biggest Battle Royale engagement that we have for Garena Call of Duty Mobile. Because AJ, admit it, this is one epic battle for all the teams that will really weed out who is the best.
Absolutely, sir. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a quick shout out to Siska Gaming. The lady is waiting for her very first opportunity to shoutcast under the Garena banner, and I think she is most definitely getting there already. She is on a watch party as well. Make sure you hop on over to Siska's page and give her some love. She will be joining us very, very soon, I am sure, just like how all of the other shoutcasters are building up their repertoire, building up their CV so that they can earn a spot up here in Top Flight, joining the Triple S teams in battle as well as they share their voice as well as hype for all of you guys to enjoy. And for all of you, your work is not done just yet. Do not forget to hit that subscribe if you're watching through YouTube, and also follow our brand new CODM esports page on Facebook. I'm pretty sure the moderators will be sharing out those links in a little bit, and we will truly appreciate any support that you can send our way. And in return, we will not allow you to leave this broadcast empty-handed. We still have got a rare wish crate coming for you, so do not go anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are. It's just more of an exchange of favors right here. But here we go. We have the overall rankings, AJ, and there you have it. We still have the Four Kings on top, and not just on top, but a huge lead against the second, AJ.
Oh, this is just insane in terms of performance. Look at the kill points, bro. Far exceeding any other team out there on the battlefield. But Vici as well as 13 Academy, they equalize with each other in terms of the dominance out there on the battlefield, with Vici just outdoing 13 Academy in terms of consistency of placements. They grab 34 versus the 18 that 13 Academy brings to the table, 88 to 72. That is exactly what sets these two teams apart. And of course, in the 4th as well as 5th spots, we still have got the VVV Esports brand out there, VD as well as Venny. I mean, I cannot stop myself from admiring the VVV clan, man. How do you do this? First of all, how do you send so many teams into a competition and then have all of them qualify for the top 32, and even in the top 32 still continue dominating together out there on the battlefield? And you know, I've been watching their plays, man. Not even a single moment where they skip a beat. Whether they meet other players or they meet their own brothers from the VVV Esports clan, they treat them all the same and they take their aggression out in the exact same manner. And through all of those plays, they have been able to can it just dominate the Group A with so much of the pressure in terms of gunfight, man? Existence Valhalla right there with the 52 points, but not too far away. The one that still shocks me is the performance of Amethyst Esports that continues dwindling here in Neptune.
Yeah, and a syntax error with that winner on the previous last round has brought themselves on the 8th spot. And there you have it. Aramin Rosina, Most Wanted Vindico, NDD, PvE Sports, CB1, Mad Gunner, syntax error, Gurkas. Oh, I think we are about to see a correction right here, as well as ABC Mystic in there on number 16. Need to move it along onto this games. But guys, this is just the end of day number 1. We are going to see Saturday, 4th of June. That would be tomorrow, day number 2. Same time, same channels as we have that you have seen right now, and hopefully you can explore all the channels, the platforms that we are in, as AJ already pointed out, and I think has been placed in there on the comment section as well for our new Facebook page. That's facebook.com/CODM Esports, as well as the YouTube. So we need your support to be able to bring up the Battle Royale scene, AJ.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, it's all in your hands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Do not forget to book your calendar. Tomorrow we continue the battle, and it will be Group B in the mix. We have not shown you guys exactly who are the teams that are going to be a part of that battle, but not to worry, we do have that lineup available for you as I pull it out. It's going to be Vagabonds Esports as well as Vagabonds Nomads, and I know you guys are waiting for the reappearance of NRX 420. They are in Group B as well, along with all of the other Supreme brands. Speaking of Supreme brands, TNC Supremo along with Empress are awaiting us in Group B as well. A lot of hype still awaiting the community as far as Garena Survivors is still concerned, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hype indeed. I mean, the kings of Battle Royale right now. But as our gift to you, we have in here another code for the Rare Wish Crate from us to you as appreciation of all the support that you have given us so far, and more support in the future. And of course, there are a lot more in store, not just for the survivors, but more of the Battle Royale scene. If we'll be able to move up on this milestone, as well as the viewership. It's time, really, AJ, to move up, to pump up Battle Royale scene right here for Garena Call of Duty Mobile.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we know. I mean, we've been a part of this community. We've been a part of the BR community since the very start, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So we know how you feel. And, not a lot of attention was paid to the BR community. But things have changed from the plunge into Garena Survivors, from mere CP into $25,000 US of a prize pool, and the top 16 teams. Everybody gets a slice of this pie. But of course, we will leave the rest of the hype for tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much once again for all of your support through the likes, the subscribes, as well as the share. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, signing off from day 1 of the Garena Survivors. We'll see you tomorrow.